on and said, yeah, there are not a lot of anime directors these days. We have a shortage in the industry. I'm like, you've been in a shortage since the 60s because you have basically 3 guys doing everything every single time.
Yeah.
So like,
no, I mean it's kind of dumb, but I mean it is a problem. Just we don't have staff. Yeah. No shit. You're not paying anyone.
No shit.
you don't need directors. You need more animators. That's like,
They need more everything.
yeah,
Yes, they do.
We got the
It's
green
boring
health
if you
bar
have the
today.
same. Boring if you have the same director work on everything. It's just like fucking. I don't want Hideaki Anno to work on everything and then fucking have like everything be Ava. I don't need that.
why not?
Because after like 3 or 4 times, I think I'd be very, very tired of watching Ava.
Why not? Can't you think about like the Yuri character design working with Anno in an anime? That would be impressive.
It would be funny when he fucking murders them.
Yeah, I cannot deny that.
In the most gruesome ways possible.
Just remember what we've learned in this season. Most of the fun in anime comes from traumatized children.
Yep. What he said.
I'm way too
handsome.
tired to think straight.
Same thing.
It is also hot and I want to vomit, but that's fine.
Oh god.
Perfect. This is gonna be fantastic.
It'll be fantastic. It's gonna be okay.
Halfway
At
through.
At least I'm not like drugged. That would be worse.
Halfway through the podcast, we're just gonna hear Hickey go.
That would be like I said, that would be a problem because I don't have anything.
Primetime
Any
listening right
recipient.
there.
I won't have any recipient to vomit at, so I'll probably do it in 4.
Clickbait that shit, JD. Just you won't believe it. Host throws up on podcast. Gone sexual.
Wow, damn.
Goes up on Pornhub.
I mean, I won't be the first one to do that because
Well, that wasn't on the podcast.
There's a guy called Demolition D who pretty much.
I mean, he was also pissed out of his mind, and I'm not even entirely sure he knew that he was streaming even.
I guess.
I don't think he knew anything. Waking up the next morning, what the fuck? What happened here?
I'm set to go.
Same.
Tori, would you do the honors of opening this podcast up today?
I don't feel like it.
Feel like it.
I don't feel like it.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Ooh.
I will do it. As usual.
Ooh. I found some interesting artwork for Idolmaster. Can we start the podcast?
He's getting distracted already. Perfect.
I am. I am sick. Hold on. Let me just.
Can we start already? Hold on.
I don't know.
I'm getting mixed signals.
I need to close Audacity and again.
Oh shit! I need to close YouTube. I don't need that.
It didn't.
That was a burp, but all right.
It didn't recognize the microphone, so I had to close it and open again.
Come on, Discord. Yep, there we go. Do not disturb. Don't disrupt me.
You are a very good artwork, so I'm gonna save you.
You are a very good artwork. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll send my best regards to the artist after we are done.
I'll send in my tributes.
I'll send them.
Send in the small children, bread for war.
I thought my way of thinking was like, I'm gonna send Shinji in End of Evangelion. We're just gonna send the hand, the Shinji's hand.
That would be the tribute.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm so fucked up. No context, just send that to the artist and event. What?
Just gonna PM him, change his hand.
I don't get it.
Oh, he gets it. Come on.
Well, he gets what it is, but why am I getting this? Why is he not providing additional information?
The beginning of a beautiful friendship.
I don't know, depends. If he sends you like the fucking over picture with Momo and the ice cream back, then you know that's where it ends.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Also, people are making artwork mocking Kimono Friends too.
Of course they are.
Yeah, because of the selective memory.
We ready yet?
I've been ready since this morning.
Everyone is ready.
Counting down. 3, 2, 1, go. And welcome to episode 42. It is the right answer. It is the right podcast. I had to do it. It's the Red Leaf Retrocast Anime Edition, and we're reviewing Treasure Island today. I'm your host, JD, and I'm joined by one host who's sick, and then another host who's the best host. Hickey,
Then.
how are you feeling? Inform the
like
audience.
Trash, but I guess that is expected because I am a trash of a human being, but that's fine.
Oh no.
Feeling more trash than usual.
Yeah, I have a stomachache, a urge to vomit, and I feel my throat is sore as well, but I'll be fine. I'll just have a soft voice in the background from time to time. Just ignore me.
And yet he's still here to podcast. If that doesn't deserve a 5-star iTunes review, then I don't know what does.
Borderline
Yeah,
ASMR at this
shit.
point.
But yeah, I got my degree at least. Finally got my degree.
Congratulations.
And I'll be getting the papers to get my lawyer license and start working.
Ooh. Freelancer, correct?
Yeah, because, I don't have a father who is a lawyer or judge. I don't have anyone. So I have to work as a freelancer.
You've joined my life in the glorious area of freelance work.
Yeah.
Hooray.
I might become a civil servant, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Oh boy. Well, the host that knows almost the most, Tori. What are you doing? You've been playing Resident Evil 2, haven't you?
I've been playing a little bit of that. That is a video game I never played the original. I've never played a Resident Evil game. I've never played a Silent Hill game in my entire life, both of which I want to do. So with the release of the new Resident Evil 2, I decided, sure, why not? And that game's been a lot of fun, and definitely got me a couple of times with a couple of scares, and
a couple spooks.
It's been a while since I played a scary game in general. But I don't remember ever getting scared of playing a video game, but this has got me a couple times, so that's a good sign.
I assume you never played Fear as well.
No, I don't think I did.
No.
There's a lot of scary games I missed out on.
Silent Hill 2 is really scary, really spooky.
So I've heard.
How far are you in Resident Evil 2? Did you start with Claire or Leon?
I started with Leon. I just went with the top. So I'm not that far. I just went and met Claire outside the police station, and then the chopper fucking when the chopper crashes into the building and fucking explodes.
Oh, you're not far at all.
And then no, I'm not far at all. I haven't been playing that much, so I'm pretty much at the start. Like it's been fun. I don't sit down and play for very long, and it's been a couple of days since I played it last. But yeah, I definitely need to get back to that and keep playing more, see where it actually goes.
Oh, it goes places. It's a Resident Evil.
I know.
It goes places.
I know.
Yeah,
I've seen them speedrun. I've seen them speedrun. It's so fun. Makes me a little bit. It makes me a little bit, mad that right now there's in the new game you can't just run past zombies as easily anymore, and there is no. You can run past some of them, but I mean the annoying thing. Well, it's not even annoying. I like it, but once a zombie is onto you and he is chasing you, just prepare for that thing to follow you to the ends of the earth, because there is no loading screens here. There are, you do have the main room, which is, for now, a safe room, but other than that, they're following you everywhere.
Yeah, you haven't met, there's one section of Leon's playthrough that always made me uncomfortable, and playing the remake still made me uncomfortable. Tori, I've already replayed the entire original in anticipation.
No, I believe it.
For this game. Yeah, I quite like Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
Fatal Frame 2 is the other one that scares the living piss out of me.
Oh, that game is a piece of shit.
Fatal Frame 2?
Every Fatal Frame.
The newer ones are pretty bad because it literally became waifu in a dark house.
yeah. Like the first ones, they are a piece of shit because they scare you. It's get to the haunting house with your camera, and you just like go around with this little window so you can peek through the camera, and something just jumps in front of you. It's oh my god. The last one, with the bikinis and half-naked 14-year-old thick girls going around haunted houses is just like, way too weird, I guess.
It's pretty
Japanese
funny.
Game, if not.
Yeah, it got pretty ridiculous when the Wii U Made in Blackwater came out. Alrighty. I did try to play the Anthem demo. I'm sure you guys have heard of that game.
Yeah, I heard about the demo.
Oh god. So I played the private demo at the video game place I like going to, and then the open demo for people at home started yesterday. Well, lo and behold, it's worse than ever. I tried playing it for an hour and it crashed on 3 separate occasions.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
have you seen the release table the EA dropped on Twitter?
No. What happened?
Oh, it's something really bad. Basically, there are tiers of players, let's put it that, or better way to say that, there's tiers of payers. And if you are the count cash, you have the full game in a 3-month anticipation launch. If you're not that guy, you can play 10 hours of the game, 2 hours of the game, 10 minutes of the game.
Oh, yeah. The whole there's a chart of level of pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. It's super confusing.
Basically, I looked at that, I was like, the game is already done. They just want to milk some people out of their money.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's pretty
so
horseshit.
Bad.
Yeah, I saw some tweets about that as well. Okay, now we're on the same page. Well, cool. In real life, bowling's been going well. I did pretty well last night, guys.
Nice. Yeah. Well, when you leave out of it, I expect you to go well every single time.
Yeah, well, I did get a new bowling ball. I got a new bowling bag for my birthday coming up. Parents were nice enough to get me that. First new bags in 15 years.
Damn. It was about time.
Yeah, it was about to. These bags might have been refurbished and sewn together more times than I can count now. So it was about time. Been going well. I'm watching a bunch of anime in my free time after I'm done with getting up at 4:30 in the morning for work. And since this is the anime cast, maybe we should move on.
Maybe.
Maybe. Let's talk about some anime. Tori, I'm going to play a quick drop, because that's what I do. You can talk about your movie today. Okay. Let's rock the dragon, just for you.
Fantastic. Imagine if I could hear it. So, as is per usual with me, I have watched a couple of movies before this cast, and the movies I watched was we're now in 1993, and I watched, 1993 to 1994. Mm-hmm. I watched Ninja Scroll.
Oh boy.
Another Loop on the Third. Ohoshi-sama no Rail. Loop on the Third again. And a movie called Junkers Come Here. And I'm not going to be talking about Ninja Scroll, even though I'm sure a lot of people will be like, oh, Ninja Scroll! I remember that! And Ohoshi-sama no Rail, which was the movie that I thought I would be talking about, because it's about World War II. I decided not to talk about that, because it is about World War II, and it's about a Japanese girl living in North Korea during World War II. And, but it wasn't that interesting. So, the movie that I actually will be talking about is called Junkers Come Here. And Junkers Come Here was made by Studio Triangle staff, and who was done, obviously, Venus War, Macross Plus, and Lane. And the summary that, once again, JD has decided to put in the agenda for me so that I don't have to look it up. I
am a kind host.
Sure is. Hiromi Nosawa is a young 6th grader with a fairly normal life, and a talking pet dog named Junkers. With her mother at work all hours of the day and her father constantly overseas, tension in the household is building up quickly, making Hiromi concerned that her parents might not stay together much longer. Luckily, Junkers has the ability to grant 3 miracles. But are miracles strong enough to save Hiromi's family?
No.
Because apparently they don't believe that... I gotta say, they made that sound way more dramatic than it
it actually is.
Than it should. No, not that it is, but than it should be. Because yes, the funny thing is, when you're introduced to this movie, you're introduced to Junkers, or Junkasu, if you will. The dog. He is. Oh. He is like he's your typical dog, except for he goes to the toilet in public toilets, and he also flushes. He's a good boy.
Absolutely, he's a good boy.
And he talks.
Well, I mean, we can deal without that.
He's like your normal dog, except he can grant you wishes, but that's fine.
Well, yeah.
that wasn't even mentioned on your synopsis about the dog.
I mean, okay. The thing is, he talks, but he doesn't talk to other people. He only talks to Hiromi. No one else. He doesn't talk in front of anybody else.
Oh, so it's like the show Wilfred.
He talks. Yeah, essentially. And of course, he's also a genie. Genie combined dog. That can offer 3 miracles. But as any normal human being would when they hear that their dog, although he can already talk, but when they hear that their dog says that he can perform miracles, Hiromi goes, yeah, right. I'm not a kid anymore.
I should seek a doctor, because that is not normal.
But yeah, it's an interesting movie that I actually quite enjoyed, because this movie deals with, obviously, parents who aren't there. Hiromi is from a fairly wealthy family. Like, they're good off. They live in a big house, and she has people. She has a private tutor. She has a maid that's there to make food for her and take care of her, and everything like that. So she is taken care of, but her parents are never there, and the parents never see each other. Yep, and the parents never see each other. They try to be there for her whenever it's possible, but over the years that has been less and less, and as the family's kind of slowly splitting up, and obviously, but the parents aren't really that worried about their daughter, because she is a big girl and she can take care of herself, which she proves many times. She is capable. Obviously, this is just kind of a facade she's putting up. She is actually not in such a good place herself. She is fairly depressed, and over the course of the movie, she gets more and more depressed as her parents kind of keep putting stuff on her, like we're getting a divorce. The mother going, I'm thinking of moving to San Francisco, or I have received a job opportunity in San Francisco that it's already been decided I'm going to take, so I'm going to take you with me to San Francisco, and I'm going to divorce your father, and all things that, when you consider the fact that she is 6th grader, is kind of heavy. And yet, because of the way she is, she kind of has to play it up as she is a big and strong girl who can take it. It's like, it's okay.
So the mother gets a new job and just says, fuck it. I'm going to take you. We're going across the world, and I'm divorcing your dad.
No, not like that. That's just the way it works. Is she first asks, kind of in like non-conformative way. Like she asks Hiromi what she would think if she and her mom and dad were to get a divorce. She's kind of just like, that's not really up to me, is it? Like I have to deal with it. So yeah, but that's kind of it's her mindset, right? She can't force. She knows that she can't force her mother and father to be together if they don't like each other. But she obviously doesn't want them. But she's not going to want them to split up. But she's not going to say it. So, and then obviously her mother gets her mother's been away all day in a meeting later on. And then when she comes home, she lets her know that she's actually been offered a job opportunity, or rather been decided that she's going to take the job at a hotel in San Francisco as the manager. So, and she wants to take her daughter with her, obviously.
This still sounds like she got a new job offer, and now she just goes, okay, I think it's time for a divorce.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It was the best excuse she got,
right? Of course, of course. But it's like a
job, and I don't like your father anymore, so let's get a divorce.
Yeah, but I mean, it also makes sense because, like, in the sense, it's not because of the job offer. They don't see each other ever because she is at work literally all day, and her father is he works as he shoots commercials and advertisements and whatnot. And because typical Japan, they can't just do like a commercial locally in the country, so he's like always out of country. So she also can't leave her daughter with him because he can't take her. He's not allowed to take her with him. So he would have to put her if like Hiromi were to stay with his dad, he would have to put her in a house with someone to watch over him while he is literally gone 300 out of 365 days a year.
So wait, he's shooting like advertisement for Japanese people, right?
Yep, and he is in France. Japan. Yep, in France, in Africa, everywhere. They don't do advertisements. It's weird.
In Japan, yeah, I know. I was setting you up for a racist joke, but you didn't follow the bait.
You're not getting me with that. Not here. Not now. But yeah, so, and obviously, no shock. Junkers is actually not a talking dog. Nor is he capable of performing miracles. He is
he's just crazy.
Yeah. Junkers
just lost her mind. It's that simple.
No, Junkers is Hiromi's mind. It's Hiromi's mind. It's her dog, but she is obviously kind of using him as a
scapegoat.
No, as like a fantasy friend.
A
made
vessel of her emotions.
Well, it's a scapegoat for her emotional state.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
It's what we do with anime.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. No, and that is his role essentially. That is what he does. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like you see her how she like falls in love with her. Despite being a 6th grader, she falls in love with her teacher. Although it's not so much love, she falls in love with him. It's more that. He has kind of become her father figure, where her father is never there, and it all kind of boils up until this emotional point at the end where it's like she can't take it anymore, and she is just kind of breaking down. And her mother comes home, and the teacher kind of confronts her, and he's like asks her what she like. If she thinks her relationship with her family is good or whatnot, and she says, "Yeah, it's perfect. We always think of what's best for our daughter." And he's just like, "When was the last time you saw her cry?" And she's like, "She never cries, but she's already cried like a million times, and she is literally breaking down right in her room right now, breaking down. Like you just think because you haven't seen her, yeah." So it's about and Ultimately, it's about family neglect. This movie was also shown. Picked by the educational board of Japan to show in schools on how to educate parents on educate kids and parents on the on parental neglect and whatnot. And
it's like one of the beginning arcs in Great Teacher Onizuka.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
And although this one is a little bit more emotional, in my opinion. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there isn't a jacked up 21-year-old coming into someone's house with a sledgehammer. Smoking.
Yeah, that never happened. Although this one did have a talking dog who can perform miracles.
Relatable.
Relatable. Yeah, we can all relate to that.
Yeah, well, we all have one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like you recommend it, Tori.
Yeah, no, I would really recommend it. Like, for me, this one, like, as somebody who was grown up in a family who was like, I only have mother. Although I'm not gonna say that I relate to this because I pretty much only had one parent my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, and but she has been, and it's nowhere near these levels. But I do find that familiar some of the feelings, right? Because as a kid, my mother, she works offshore, so she would be gone like 2 weeks at a time. And again, this is only 2 weeks, right? And she'd be home for a month. So it's not bad. But there were definitely times when I was younger where I was a little bit sad that my mother had to leave. So it is some of those things in here, some of the feelings in here, they are definitely familiar to me.
Mm-hmm. See, the trick is, Tori, you got to be like me and just leave your parents first.
Somebody would have told me that earlier. I would have packed up my diapers.
We could have met in Germany.
Well, I wouldn't have gone to Germany, so no.
I don't think Tori was alive at that moment. Just kidding, Jane.
Yeah, he was. Come on.
We're just kidding with you.
Tori, how old were you in 2005?
It's not everyone who got like to witness the fucking Berlin Wall being made.
Hey, I was born and it was being torn down. Thank you.
Yeah, I was 10 years old in 2005.
So you could have gone to Germany. And
10 years old, yeah, sure.
And you would have been in 5th grade?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, we wouldn't have been in the same class.
No, really? You think so?
Fuck, that means I graduated high school and you were in 5th grade. Oh, Christ.
Well,
yeah, Grandpa.
I'm old. Oh, no.
You know what's interesting? I was in 4th grade, and I'm pretty sure at that time I've watched more anime than you. That is actually very interesting.
Well, it's more accessible now. Wasn't very accessible when I was growing up.
Should have grown up at the right time then.
Oh, you know what, Tori? You're right.
Anyway, yeah.
How do you perform a reverse birth? There's an anime plot for you.
Actually, that is a dojin.
Yeah, that is actually a type of born. I will not describe how you do it. It involves a lot of Vaseline, a head, and a vagina. Let's not enter in that thing. Can we just move on? That's a very interesting movie, by the way.
These things, by the way, that we're talking about now have nothing to do with none of this.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm really bad. I feel very sick, so I'm just sidetracking a lot.
I'm so using that in a commercial for future episodes.
Of course you are.
But I can also relate to the story of this movie. My father's got a divorce when I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. So yeah. I got used to seeing like my father working every single day. Like he would go out at 7 a.m. and just come back at 9 p.m. And so, I would just lunch by myself and do everything by myself. So I don't know. I just got used to it. I didn't have a dog. Probably that was the case.
You had anime.
Yeah, I didn't have a dog. I had a cat.
Anime. That's true.
When when I got back from Germany, I found out my parents were divorced. Where's Dad? Oh, he's not living here anymore. Oh.
What happened? Oh, well, you know, stuff.
Okay.
Stop! You'll never see him again.
I guess I'll go to. I guess I'll go to college now.
Yeah, it's like, all right. So what's his address? I need to ship him this German sausage I bought.
No, I had returned to the States, and that's when they told me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't bring any sausage with you.
No, you can't. You can't bring.
Wow.
Can't bring like seeds and meat and stuff on planes internationally. No, you can't do that.
Oh, I did that when I went to Argentina.
Oh. Well, maybe it's different in South America, but you can't do that in America.
Well,
United States of America.
They handed me a file, so like, are you carrying any of those things? Like, no, I'm not. And they never checked my baggage, so that's fine.
My bags always get checked when I go through international travel like that.
Mine did not.
Always.
I was asked. I was asked, I was like, do you have any food? And I just started laughing at the fucking TSA agent. Like he was a fucking idiot.
The second time I came,
no.
Yeah, I got a good story for that. The second time I came back from Germany, I had a bunch of gummy bears and chocolate I brought back with me, and the drug dogs went fucking crazy over my bag, and so I was taken into that room for about 2 hours, and my mom was picking me up at the airport, and she's like, where the fuck is he? Now he won't answer his phone all of a sudden.
He's ran away. Oh.
The TSA officers ended up taking all of my gummy bears. They left the chocolate, but they took all of the gummy bears.
These are drugged up.
God.
Oh, you should have had a clear plastic bag of some sugar or something in there. That would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, that would go over very well in United States border control.
Yep, you know it.
Okay. So enough storytelling. We got some manhwa talk as I play this one.
I know too much about you. Are you still gonna kill me?
Yeah.
Okay. Icky. We have a segment that we introduced in the previous episode, and it's called the Manga Manhwa Checkout. And it's a new segment where each episode we will highlight a manga or manhwa or a webtoon, if it's separate, after reading the first volume or X amount of chapters, kind of pre-decided. So our second checkout is over the manhwa, which was Tori's suggestion. You kind of brought it up in the previous episode.
Sure did.
Called Girls of the Wilds. It's a Korean manhwa webtoon series written by Hoon and illustrated by Xena, not the warrior princess, haha. Released August 2011 and is available on webtoons. Icky, would you care to read the summary from Anime Planet?
Gigantic summary. All right. Thanks for asking the guy who can't even think straight to really fucking 10 lines of paragraph. Wilds High has a 42-year-old history as a fighting specialized girls-only private high school meant solely for the elite. It is also the place of the Wilds League that Wilds League is held, the most popular event in the country and the only place in the world where teenage girls have brutal fights with their lives on the line. I'm so hot right now.
I don't think that's in there.
I'm so hard right now just reading this.
1 year, the school changed from girls only to a mixed gender school. Bullshit. It went from a girls only to one boy mixed in the girls.
A mixed school. That's all in it.
I don't know. I would say mixed is more like at least 5 people.
Nope.
At least 5 boys, just like prison school. The only male student, Song Jae-gu, has been granted a full 3-year scholarship regardless of his grades. Being someone who had spent every moment either working or taking care of his younger brother and sister, he accepted. But after meeting Queen, the bloody champion of the Wilds League, drenching her in coffee, calling her a monster, and getting caught up inside while... Hang on. Wait.
Something happened? Uh-oh.
I think his dad came for him, or his brother.
Okay, well, he was about to read seeing a girl in a shower, and he was
I'm
totally
back.
caught.
Yep. Yeah.
Obviously, that almost proved fatal.
Yeah. His scholarship could prove fatal. Well, not really. Maybe. Not
Could've.
because of the girls. The girls, they made sure to tell you he has some abs, and every single girl in the school who can pretty much kill him instantly wants his ass. There's a shot about that in the manga.
Yeah, so
he is the object here.
we read about... We were supposed to read the first 20 chapters. But you two had already read like the whole thing, so this was new to me. So I didn't know really what to expect other than you guys spoke highly of it.
Yeah.
And you're right. I do like the joking that the male is the subject of objectivity in this. I thought that was a neat little thing. There's a lot of jokes where he has to change in the middle of the like classroom, and then all of a sudden he looks left, and like every girl in the school has their cell phones out, trying to snap a picture of him.
Yeah, he's just like he's out of like training or physical education, and he's just like drenching himself in water in the fountain, and he looks at the school, and there's like a bunch of girls just screeching and taking pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They also the principal, I guess you could call him. He sets out. This is how it all kind of kickstarts. He sets out a, I guess, objective where, in order for these female students in the school to like find their, I don't want to say maidenhood, but I guess femininity, their feminine side, is to whoever like makes friends or, you know, does something with song that they'll get like extra credit or some shit. So most of the girls kind of see that as not so much a boyfriend girlfriend thing, but he knows something that'll get them extra credit. They try to take advantage of him. So you're introduced to the taekwondo chick, who's kind of small in stature and spunky. You have the boxing chick, who is tall, kind of a tomboy. And then you have the Tsundere 101 character, Queen, who's...
No, she can go fuck herself. I don't care about her.
I don't care about her either, and I did find it redeeming. Like, I get what the story's gonna be. It's, oh, the rich girl who's good at everything.
I mean, this is a little bit of a problem with this manga, because once the main guy sees Queen at the first time, you know she's the girl. Like, doesn't matter. You don't need to get involved or develop any feelings for the other girls, because they will always be on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yes, but they do discover their own little thing anyways, so it's fine for their sakes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, they got their own little romantic shit going on.
Yeah, but because of the way it's set up with Queen, as Hickey said, it almost seems like your personal investment in the characters is mute, because you know where it's heading.
I kind of disagree with that.
So
yeah, like, it's fine. It's usually the problem I have with a few harems, when they show you the final prize at the beginning. So like, oh, okay, so like that's the way. It's very hard to change once it's set.
But all it does is get and I'm with you, Hickey. It does get the viewer or reader. Yeah, you already know where it's going to end up. So it only gets the viewer and reader kind of irritated that even though that all these other characters are having way more development cycles and spend way more time with the main character, especially in Girls of the Wilds here. I just found myself getting frustrated with the character. Like, whether you pick one or another, whether it's Taekwondo or boxing chick, you know that they're just going to be they're friend zoned hard from the start.
Yep.
And that's quite sad.
That's the way it should be. Nah, it's not sad.
Yeah, because you have best girl and second best girl.
Then why do you want them to get together with a fucking lamest dude?
He's not lame. He doesn't have a personality, but he's not that lame. Come on, he's not the lamest thing I ever seen.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Come on.
I didn't say the lamest thing I've ever seen. I said he's fucking lame.
But he's not that lame. Come on.
Yes, he is.
He has some redeeming qualities, especially when it comes to family.
Yeah, some.
Excuse me, Mr. Perfect. I'm sorry. I forgot. You were the most perfect being that have existed.
Of course. I'm the best host.
Alright. So, what this does, what this series did well at the start, it got me interested in a lot of the side characters. And it really set a precedent for this main character's song being weak while the girls are really strong. So it's kind of a flip on normality, I guess is how you could say. Not an anime per se, because there is a lot of anime out there where the main male character is weak and he has to become strong, and the girls, for seemingly no reason, fawn over him. At least there's
something mother instinct.
Yeah, motherly instincts kind of deal.
Like that.
In this case, I think Girls of the Wilds at the start really gives you an idea of who Song is and his motivations behind everything. You learn that he's bullied, and they make fun of him for being poor. His parents left him. His dad died, right? Or does his dad just straight up leave? I can't remember.
No, remember.
I don't either.
Either way, he's not there, and then eventually, like, shortly after, the mom leaves, so he feels this, at least at the start, he feels that all women will just leave him and they're evil, I guess. Or they're out for themselves. So,
is that true?
Yeah, he definitely, and that kind of sets off how he meets Queen and how he views her. Obviously, that's going to change over time. But you don't really see a lot of Queen. She's just kind of she's still the focal point of the happenings and what's going on in the story, but she's not physically there.
She is the one who was kind of meant to be portrayed as the perfect character. The one who has everything together. She can do no wrong. She wins every fight. No one is even close. She is the perfect character, which kind of is meant to be set up for the final arc of the whole. But yeah, for the first part, she is not very much there in terms of, like, when compared to the other characters, she is not really discovered. She's kind of like, oh, she has a thing for him.
You don't. The end of chapter 20 is Song apologizes to her and then just says, all right, I'm out, I'll leave. And then there's that moment where she turns to her friend, I think boxing chick herself. Mm-hmm. Stop him, what are you doing? That kind of look. You go, oh, okay, here we go. And that's where the series kickstarts everything. So in that sense, I think it was a good amount of time in giving you a setup for everything, and because of that, and that little turn in character development for a lot of them, I just couldn't stop reading. I read all the way to chapter 60 in about one sitting. I just couldn't fall asleep, and it just one thing after another. So it did a lot of things well in that regard, in setting it up. I do have a little bit of issue with how Song is portrayed as being this pushover character too much at times, but that's probably the weakest part of the manhwa. What do you guys think?
I couldn't agree more. I have a few other problems, but it definitely gets you invested, and you just start reading. If you start reading, you cannot stop.
Oh
You
yeah,
just go.
yeah.
It's very fluid and easy to read as well.
It's one of those
The
things
characters
like
are very interesting, and the fights are very interesting.
yeah,
The fights
it's
are
one of those things that
interesting.
I think are. Oh yeah, that's. I mean, that was kind of why I recommended it as well. Like I said, you were a bit annoyed, and you were talking about how you were a bit annoyed that it was like when Ngoso was just there was martial art, but what kind of martial art? So well, you will always know what martial art they're doing in in Girls of the Wild. That is explicitly told many times.
It reminds me a little bit of like the beginning of MMA, which you didn't have the fighters fighting like multiple styles. You'd have
Oh
a
yeah.
karate fighter fighting a sumo fighter. You know, it reminded me a little bit of that, and that's quite interesting.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There was one character in particular, and this is kind of jumping ahead to where I'm at now. But there's this green-haired glasses chick who has this.
Yes.
I can't remember what style she has, but it's this. It uses energy, and she can funnel weaponry and move right. The series, and this is even in the first 20 chapters, because she is one of the first ones to actually help him against his bullies that have returned to bully him more, and that's kind of why he's in the mental state that he is. He's just heavily bullied, and he only cares about one thing, and that's not getting overly hurt so he can continue working and take care of his kids. Does he lack the confidence to do anything other than that? Absolutely. So I thought this green-haired chick who initially saved him was going to be the one who's going to teach him styles and whatnot, but that never happened. She just disappears, seemingly, for the rest of the time, and she shows up in a fight later, and that's it. So I was really disappointed in that particular character, because the initial setup.
Yeah, they do have a couple of characters that I think they could have done more with. It's the same thing as like, I mean, this is later, but you have the head of the like special security team working at the school as well. I mean, she is fucking badass as all hell. I really wish they would have done something more with her. And the entire, for that matter, the entire security force is kind of just like, well, what are their job? Well, they show up to kind of break up a fight whenever something happens, and they're just kind of there as like power figures, you know. They're like, oh shit, they're here. Everyone stop fighting, and then you always have that one that's like, I'm not going to stop because a couple girls are telling me to, and then they get their ass kicked.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of that in the show, or the manhwa, where it depicts women as weak, fragile beings, but then in that world, you know that this high school is the baddest of the bad, right? And every girl in it could kick your ass and kill you with their pinky finger.
Yep. Well, one of the things that I like, and some people, I mean, maybe some people will take this the wrong way, but one thing that I do like is the fact that they do state that obviously the girls are really strong and really good. One of the reasons why they are because they're trained martial artists. They have trained pretty much their entire lives for this. That's why they're so good. And there are times, especially later, where it is stated that if they were to face off, there's a reason why they only face off against women. Because if they were to face off against guys with the same training that they have, they would still be at a disadvantage because they don't have the raw physicality of a man.
They do make that clear, which I get what you're saying, Tori. It may sound sexist, but like from a scientific and physical standpoint, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they can't beat them, it's just that they're at a disadvantage.
Right, and that's what they say. You're at a disadvantage, but they still kick the shit out of them. Because they're better.
Actually.
Because they're better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the fighting's very addicting. Seeing the rise of Song trying to overcome himself. I'm looking forward to, I haven't read anything past chapter 60 since that initial night. So it's been a couple weeks now. But I am looking forward to seeing where Song ends up going. How he I can see him gaining more confidence. Perhaps an actual relationship starts to develop here pretty soon, other than Taekwondo chick stealing kisses every now and again.
I'm gonna disappoint you there. No.
Yeah.
No relationship happens.
Well, there you go. So I'll just enjoy the fighting then.
Oh yeah, it's one of the things like there's obvious things that could make it better as a story, but like in terms of just raw entertainment, Girls of the Wilds is pretty good at that.
So
it's really good at just keeping you entertained.
It's a popcorn thing. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we recommend. I do like this more than Gosu, which was our first checkout. I think it was much more addicting and easier to read, and the characters were more fleshed out,
Likeable.
Yeah, and more likable as well. Yeah, bigger cast. It's more easy to get invested. So we all recommend. Go check out Girls of the Wilds. It's available for free on Webtoons.
Best host strikes again.
Best host strikes again. We'll have fun picking We'll have fun picking the next one. Okay. Well, I think it's time for another drop. We can move on to our winter anime impressions for 2019. Yay! Maybe a commercial first, but not for the live stream. Alrighty, boys. It is 2019 Winter Impressions. It has already come. It's right upon us. Ooh. And Hickey, you had a suggestion going forward, and I think we're going to stick to it. What was your suggestion?
Well, basically, instead of sticking with the same shows over and over again, because we have a good taste in anime. Well, at least I know I do, and Tori, I can agree with Tori multiple times, and usually JD goes with the safe stuff. We can even see in his picks it's very safe.
Yeah.
But usually what would happen is we're gonna pick an anime to talk in a preview, and then the same anime winter impressions, and then in reviewing at the end. So instead of doing that, we're gonna talk about the shows we've picked for our impression, our preview, just a little bit, and then leave a bigger time to talk about all the shows that might have caught our attention for being good or bad.
Alrighty. Well, Tori, why don't you go first?
Alright, so should I just do all my 3 picks right away, or just one at a time?
One at a time.
Alright then. So the first one that I want to just briefly talk about is Monoria Friends, because it finally came out and I don't believe it. Woo! Monoria Friends is basically another show by well, this kind of side games pictures, but it's another one of those Rage of Bahamut anime, and this time it's a short and about 2 girls enrolled in a okay, let's just go with the synopsis. Enrolled in Mysteria Academy, because they can't say Monoria here. Mysteria Academy is a prestigious magic school that teaches magic without discrimination to the 3 factions: men, gods, and demons, who usually are engaged in battle with each other. 2 of the Academy's students are Anne, a princess and honor student, and Greya, a princess born from a dragon and a human. And yeah, that's about it. It's pretty gay. It's pretty
gay.
It is pretty gay. The girls, they really like hanging out and talking to each other and making subtle suggestions and blush at each other, and
they blush at each other? Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
This is a PG show, Tori. Calm down.
Yeah, and then the dragon girl, she is pretty sexy. But I didn't say that. Especially when she unleashes her real form. Gets her fat tail. Yeah, so what is there is there to this show? Not much.
Not much. Just a gay dragon princess and a gay regular princess, and a night guy that follows the regular gay princess around.
Who stalks them around.
Well, I mean, he's loyal. He protects.
Yeah. Pretty loyal.
I mean, the animation is fine.
Yeah. Like, in terms of just polish and fucking how shiny these characters are, and the lighting effects and everything, it's pretty good looking. All things considered.
They shine a lot. Now that you mention that.
Yeah. And just look at the lighting effects in an episode. It's like, fucking Jesus Christ. They're going all out with this. So yeah, no, it's it's my kind of show. It's a whole bunch of nothing apart from a slight bit of hand holding and some subtle Yuri undertones. And what more do you really need from an anime?
Good content.
Okay,
but
sure.
That's quite rare. I mean, the funniest part of this show is the fact Cygames denied the people subtitling the show the usage of the word Manaria
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah,
There's no reason at all.
Yeah, so it's
they don't have the
Mysteria.
rights.
They're
They
Mysteria
don't have the
friends.
rights of using Manaria friends. So they use Mysteria friends. I mean, it would be interesting if they denied the friends part as well, and it was just like the Mysteria Pals.
Mysteria Pals.
Mysteria Pals. It's just like, all right, something happened. It's very weird. Usually, Cygames is very cool with that kind of things. I don't know why they denied it. Probably because it was based out of an event of a game.
Probably.
But it was very weird regardless.
It does make me wonder what the hell this event actually was, but well, that's not important.
Well, I mean, about a gay dragon princess and a regular gay princess going around, I guess.
Clearly.
And clearing some dungeons, I guess.
Dungeons are the weirdest thing, but yes. Anyways, let's move on.
Sure, let's move on.
To Hickey.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
what do you want from me?
I want you to move
one
on.
of your picks, man.
Okay, I thought you were gonna do the three you had, but that's
No, I was going to do one.
the first one. I'll go with the thing. It's the show I one of the shows I chose for the preview. Gotobu no Hanayomi, or the quintessential quintuplets. That's a very dumb name. Basically,
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a love hexagon that tells a story about Futaro Yusugi as he tutors 5 quintuplets. So no way, 5 quintuplets, not 4. The names are Ichika, Nino, Miko, Itsuki, and Yotsuba. Yeah, well, I mean, the beginning is very regular. I was expecting that. I've read the manga. It's gonna be better. At least people are already noticing the show is a little bit different from your usual love triangle where you have shitty main character that can do anything and very waifu bait female characters. This show is a little bit better, especially because people already noticed the best girl as well, and that's not gonna change.
Sure.
Still, very interesting show, and I'm happy it's going well. The music's good, the animation is good, the character design is questionable because they changed the cup sizes of the characters a little bit, but
Of course they did
overall
that.
it's very fine.
Of course they
So
do.
that kind of shocks me to hear you say that, because the one thing that I've heard people complain about the most for this anime is the fact that the production value is inconsistent at best.
No, not really. Not that I paid attention to it. I don't remember any instance where you had like a eye being bigger than the other or something like that.
All right, if you say so.
But I don't know, because I like the show. This is the biggest problem.
That's your problem. You shouldn't like stuff.
That is true.
You shouldn't like trash.
You shouldn't like
Not
trash.
even trash. Don't like anything. That's the best way to go about it.
Just
go
hate
about
it all, turn
Never.
it off, stop anime. This podcast is over.
Yep. It's been a good ride, guys.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll take over. So the anime I previewed before was The Promised Neverland. And for those that don't know, it's by Studio Cloverworks, that also brought us Fairy Tail Final Season, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which a lot of people seem to like. Yeah. And it is about a bunch of people a bunch of kids in an orphanage. Everyone ranges from 0 to 12, pretty much. And the whole premise is they grow up on this orphanage and can't go anywhere outside the orphanage because they're blocked off everywhere. And they will be adopted, quote unquote, by the age of 12. they can be adopted earlier than that, but no later than 12, so before puberty. And you find out immediately at the end of the first episode that this is actually a, you can call it a plant where the kids are grown to be eventually fed to alien demon type creatures. So the rest of the next couple episodes is the two characters that found out, Norman and Emma, trying to train all the other kids in secret. They don't tell them that they're going to be actually food, but they train them for their escape plan. So, and then they slowly recruit kids, tell them the truth, and it's all about trying to trick the caretaker, which they whom they call Mom, and escaping successfully. And there's another sister mom brought in. You kind of keep a close eye on them, so she's an extra obstacle they must overcome. And the kids are very smart. They're trained every day in various tests and what have you. They're all scored, so that gives you an idea of how intelligent they are. And our three main characters are hitting perfect scores. It really gives you a good premise on the intelligence of the kids. Kind of gives you it suspends your disbelief about like what they're capable of. And it's doing a very good job and I have read the manga. It's doing a very good job adapting it. There is quite a bit of dialogue sequences where the characters are just simply on a still screen and they're talking at each other, but the content that they're talking about still gives you a good sense of anticipation and stakes. And that's where this, I believe, shines the most, is the stakes are high, because if they don't succeed, they will die or get sold off.
They will die.
They will die.
They will
die. I only have two things to talk about the show. Well,
okay.
Three things. One, it is great. It's actually very good. Two, I still hate the potato faces. Three, it is very interesting how they build up the tension. Because usually, they stay 20 out of the 24 minutes of an episode. They stay 20 minutes just like hyping up the hope of these kids, like we can escape, or we can do this, and the last 4 minutes they just destroy the sandcastle they've built during the episode, and they need to rebuild everything in the next episode. So you had like the first one, then you had the first one, you had the tracking device. Well, the first one you had the islands, then you had the tracking device, then you had the new caretaker, then now you have like this. Maybe we have a traitor between the kids. And I was like, holy shit. These kids cannot take a breath. Every time they build a castle, they discover it's actually just a sand castle or a castle built in sand, and it just falls to the ground every single episode.
Yeah, I like that. I like that part. Like I like the way they do the build up. I know it's been kind of hotly debated among people whether or not they actually like it or not, because I know from the manga, the people I've heard who have read the manga, in the manga they more like to kind of just not so much not build it up, but it's kind of just like it's more so about hitting you in the face when something happens, like it comes out of left field. The beginning, the opening shock, it's kind of just like the anime. I know a lot of people didn't like it, myself kind of included. Didn't like it that much, the way they portrayed the actual plot twist at the end of episode 1. For me, it's mostly just because it took a little bit too long with the actual reaction, because it's like you see it, that Emma's shocked by something, and then Norman is kind of slowly walking up to like build, transfer, and that I like. But then we also have to see his reaction first, and then instead of actually getting to see what he sees, we have to see him take a step back and look very shocked at the camera. We know that he's shocked at something, and then we see what it is. I know that a lot of people didn't like that, because in the manga apparently it's way more just like they find it, Emma shocked, boom, that's what it was. So I know people are like been a bit of a hot debate, the topic. Should they build it up or should they just show it like they do in the manga? I personally think they should build it up because this isn't the manga, and just showing everything all the time gets very stale in an anime.
Sure. I think it's also nitpicking at that point, really, because
it is.
It's really damn close.
You got to remember, right? when it comes to manga fans, usually they usually want as close to, if not a 100% faithful adaptation as possible.
Yeah. Usually when it comes to the manga fans, they're like, but this is not like the manga. Well, guess what? This is not the manga.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's being an extremely faithful adaptation. It's lived up to all the hype that I had going into it, and we even have a question from the chat. I already know the answer to this question, so I won't answer it. But Yata says, any ideas on the significance of the red rose we saw on Connie's chest at the end of the first episode?
No. I mean, we started that after we finished, Utena. So, I was done with the roses. I could care less.
I'm done thinking about roses. Utena killed me.
It's that there is I'm not entirely sure. There could be so many things. It's the problem again. Like we've already been over the.
Yeah, you can go back to the Uten episode, and I just talked about like 30 minutes of every single meaning of a rose.
Yeah, it's like just go to Google, type in rose symbolism, and then just see the fucking list of like things that could possibly mean. But a lot.
I mean, for what a rose represents, I think it's pretty straightforward. But as for the significance, I can tell you, don't think too much about it.
Yeah, it's a shonen. I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah, it's a shonen show, so it's not as deep as you think.
Yeah, it's like I like it because it's different enough from a lot of other shonens, and this is more like horror-esque, rather than just straight up battle shonen. So I like that, but at the end of the day, it's not like this isn't some deep philosophical. Like, it is a shonen. It is ultimately meant to be read and enjoyed by teenage boys.
What is the meaning
it's doing
of
a good
rose
job.
in her chest?
I think Hickey said it best. The most common critique
Tuxedo
is
Mask
the
just killed her off. Anyway,
is the faces and character art. That's the most common
faces
complaint.
The faces are too small for the fucking head.
I don't mind. I don't mind. It's goofy. It's different.
I know what it is. They've all got Down syndrome. There it is.
Oh no.
They all get Down. Can we move on?
Yeah, sure. All right, Tori, you're second. Let's move on. Let's pick up the pace.
Come on, let's pick up some speed.
All right, then. You want speed? Well, the next one I'm going to talk about is Mahou Tokushusen Asuka, or Magical Girls Spec-Ops Asuka. And basically, due to the invasion of Disas, enigmatic creatures of soil from the land of the dead, mankind, who was on the verge of crisis, was saved by the efforts of magical girls who had obtained a mysterious magical power. 3 years later, new incidents suddenly occur, tearing apart the normalcy of the girls who had each returned to their normal lives. The saviors of humanity, those magical girls called the Magical Five, now live each day fighting for their lives, even as they're trifled with by fate. That is very important. With by fate. So yeah, it's Magical Girl, but with murder and death and killing and terrorism.
A magical M4. Hell yeah.
Magical M4 and a goddamn teddy bear that looks very cute. I mean, kind of patched up, but he does look pretty cute, and that he eats everything and devours people and fucking takes their head off and throws it away, because apparently he can eat their body, but he can't eat the head. He doesn't like the head, I assume.
Yeah,
I thought the brain was the best part, but maybe I'm wrong.
Anime.
It's been alright. It's a bit, for me, it's been a bit lackluster, like in terms of what it promises to be or what it could be, and versus what it actually is. It's a bit lackluster. It's got some decent action, and but at the same time, it's also got like kind of lengthy segments of not really much of anything happening, which I don't really like. So
Yeah, no. I mean, my only problem really is with Asuka. She's very stillborn. And
yeah,
you know what happens in anime when
Stubborn or
the main character
stillborn?
is stillborn.
both.
Stillborn. Come on, JD. You know what I'm talking about.
I
She's
know,
very
it's just
stillborn.
funny.
And usually when the main character is thick-headed, just like she is, she's like, she's a magical girl and she can fight and defeat those terrorists. But she's like, I'm not joining anyone. Someone closer to her will get hurt badly. And she's like, well, shit, I made a mistake because I was thick-headed and didn't want to fight for justice. Now all my friends are dead or something like that.
Well, I mean, they've already set up for that, so
Yeah, they set up for that twice. It's the second
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
Nah,
it's gonna be like I'm still interested. I'm probably gonna watch the entire thing.
Yeah, I
anyways.
know, but,
but
those parts where it's just like dead.
Yeah.
Which is the guy with the mechanical arm and Asuka together. And Asuka, the only thing Asuka says when she's with that guy is like, I'm not joining you.
yeah, I know.
Stop trying. I'm not joining you. Every single time. And, if she stopped being like that and is like, all right, there's no choice anyway, and joins it, I believe it will cut off a lot of those parts where it's just stale.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You have the kind of PTSD thing that's going on. And I think it's a bit dumb. Like I kind of hate it because I've always said like I want to see reactions from characters to what's going on, like them being affected by the fact that literally there's terrorism happening in front of their eyes. So I like that they're affected by it, but also some of the like PTSD that they're experiencing is kind of just like that's not even close to being right. That's not even close to being PTSD. They're just weird and dumb. So yeah, no, and then obviously you have the that I did actually kind of like this scene, and it's a scene where Asuka has her best friend come back, one of the magical girls, and she's just like, I don't want to fight anymore. And she's just like, and you get the flashback to Asuka literally kind of going like, if you want to be like, because this other girl, she used to be bullied and whatnot, she's just like, if you want to be strong, then you'll become a magical girl and fight with me. I'm like, wow. You made this totally innocent girl who had nothing to do with it. You made her become magical. Now you can't even be ass fucking being a magical girl anymore, so you'll just have her risk her life instead. Fucking fantastic, mate.
Great. Awesome.
Those are best friends right there. That's what friends are all about. Forcing somebody else to do the things you don't want to do. But yeah, nah, it's dumb. I don't like the character designs like at all. I think they look fucking ugly as shit. But all right. So yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't
Let's
know.
move on.
I like the character design.
I don't. Too square. Too big boobs. It's like, scale down them boobs.
Scale the boobs down.
You're asking too much. You know that, right?
I know, but it's kind of annoying when it's like the boobs are literally the biggest part of their torso. That's not okay. Come on.
Obviously, it's the
like,
most important part.
They have got fucking like those aren't breasts. They're fucking balloons.
All right, Hickey, you're second.
All right, the second one I chose for the preview was Tate no Yusha, or Tate no Yusha no Nariagari.
Rising of the Shield Hero.
Rising of the Shield Hero. False rape accusations that people got mad on the internet. The anime.
You don't know that they're false.
Yeah, no one knows. No one saw. No one saw. If no one saw, that means it's true.
Yep.
He raped the princess.
Fact.
Regardless, basically tells a story of 4 heroes that are summoned to another world that's an isekai. Basically, you follow the shield hero, which is now Fumi Iwatani, and he goes through a bunch of shit. He's accused of rape and assault and robbery, and he's outcasted. So he needs to find a slave to fight for him because he can fight. He cannot use weapons.
Right, the world disallows him from equipping anything in
weapons. Yeah,
they have weird
just shields.
Yeah, they have weird gaming
mechanics. Yeah, it's the worst part of this anime, the game mechanics and the things like that.
It's a what do you expect?
Yeah, This show is a mix of a train wreck with a good anime. So it varies from time to time, so it's quite interesting to watch. I can give you that.
I really liked the last episode I watched. That was a pretty good one.
Which one? The one with the fight?
The one with the fight, yes.
Yeah, for the slave.
I've watched episode 4 as well. Well, that's all that's out, so.
Nice little insert song as well, sung by the VA of Raftalia, his slave.
His slave. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's... I mean, the production is fine, the music's fine. The characters are okay. Naofumi is a good main character, in my opinion.
So far.
And, you know, it so far, yeah. I know what's gonna happen in the future, so far is a good description of what is going on, but I don't believe they will go so far in the place. I'm thinking he becomes not so good and becomes more of a train wreck than a proper good story.
I have a statement, I think, on the show that we should make.
Okay.
And I believe the show has peaked at episode 4 now. Because and I say that because the whole start is the first episode is an hour long, which I thought was interesting because the first half is it an hour? Yes.
Yeah, 40 minutes.
40 minutes. So the first 20 minutes of that 40 was it was like bog standard isekai. I wasn't quite enjoying it. And then you have the character turn, and it's not very often you see any anime for that matter. You have a bitter, angry main character, and he's pissed off at the world, so he just abides by the world's rules. And there is a line he says where it's like, the other guys go, "You're not allowed to have a slave. That's not your world." And he goes, "Well, we're not in our world anymore. This is this world." I was like, okay, makes sense. So the writing to an extent is okay. So he's a bitter he's a bitter guy. The world's kind of against him. It's been plotted against him. You know, nothing's fair. He's angry. I was like, okay, we got a new type character. Well, something happens in episode 4 where, seemingly to me anyways, that whole initial problem has already been resolved now.
I mean, I wouldn't really say that it's been resolved. Like, for me, that entire thing kind of, without spoiling too much, he kind of opens his eyes for the first time. You know, the whole thing with Raftalia, for example, like, he can't... What we see is, like, as she levels up, she obviously kind of grows up.
Right, yeah. So she can become waifu girl, right?
Yep, perk of her character. And, you know, he doesn't see that. Like, everyone's like, wow, she has grown up, and he's just like, what are you talking about? And so to me, it's more like that.
Pedophile.
Yeah, it's more like that. He doesn't see, because he's not looking at people. He doesn't trust anyone.
Right. Nor should he.
He just expects everyone to. Because he just expects everyone to betray him. So kind of, for me, it's more like that. This thing kind of unlocked his eyes as well as his new curse ability. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I still think it'd be interesting to see, because obviously still he does have that, like, when kind of he's being kicked while he's down, and he is kind of just in the depths of despair when he unlocks that, like, her skill tree or whatever.
But now
whatever
he's not
it was
down
that it
anymore.
said. Yes, but he's got access to a whole nother curse thing. Remember, it's not like everyone's going to just turn around and be like, "Yay, shield hero, my friend."
Yeah, no, they will still give him shit. A lot of shit.
I give it... See, the thing is, with the pace it's going and the story being told, I give it maybe another episode or 2, and even then that will be solved. And that's where I'm getting worried about this, because this has a good premise. I think it's a good... We mentioned Girls of the Wilds being, a good popcorn type read. I think this is a good popcorn type show.
Yes.
I think, however, the story, seemingly to me anyways, I'm worried that all of the issues that brings everyone in is just gonna go away too fast. They're gonna bring in these other elements that will they be interesting enough to keep the viewer? So that's my worry.
Well, I mean, not spoiling, but spoiling, yes. But
Okay.
I don't believe the ending of the anime will. The ending will be before that happens. I believe
Guess we'll find
it
out.
will be. You know, I think it's like 12, 13 episodes. I believe they will cut off before that happens. So he's gonna get a lot of shit.
Isn't Shield Hero supposed to be like 24 episodes though?
25.
If it's 25, then yes. The second part, we're gonna see what are you talking about.
Okay.
Well,
interested to see going forward. I am surprised that I am enjoying an isekai as much as I am with this one.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was just about to say. I still think it's a bit of that isekai doubt. It's like, okay, I'm enjoying this but this is an isekai. Will it be able to keep it going? But,
yes.
I mean, yes, obviously, but I mean, on me and you, unlike Kiki, we don't have access to or we haven't read the light novel, so that's kind of, for me, it's kind of like empty speculation, right? I was like,
is it a light novel or a
where
manga?
they go.
I think it's a light novel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a light novel.
It's a manga
as
too.
well, but there's a manga. Okay. There's a manga adaptation, but it's a light novel.
That is how everyone found out about the rape allegations before the before the show came out. They were like, "Whoa!"
Before the show came, yeah.
I think I think in terms of the social commentary, I think people are thinking too much into it or reading too much into it.
Ain't too hard. It's just a story. Come on.
Yeah. All right,
yeah,
so at least we're on the same page.
It's the perfect, it's the perfect mix between a good writing show and a train wreck. So you cannot take your eyes off because you want to
see
there's
crash?
a train wreck going. Yeah, no, you don't want to see it crashing, but you want to see Tom Cruise or Liam Neeson just saving his daughter again in the train wreck or something like that.
Yeah, I'm very glad it hasn't gone full Death March yet, but I have a feeling I'm waiting for like the Lolly character, the twin characters to join his little.
What? No, of course.
I don't know. Didn't you say he gets more saves?
He does.
Well, come on. The only way it could truly progress, he's not going to have it's just not going to be him and Raftalia forever.
No. So there's gonna be what you're talking about. But also there are some interesting twists for that.
Okay.
Just like they did with most of the show so far.
Yeah. No, but like the most important thing for me so far with the show is just that it seems like the people who are making they're doing it justice. They're trying to put together a good show, and you can see it.
You'll have twins with a flat-chested chick, a big-breasted chick. Just wait for it. It's probably gonna happen. Will it have interesting twists on it? We'll see.
Everything can happen.
Anything can happen, I suppose. It's possible. All right, my turn. All right, so my second one, I did a preview on. It is actually a Netflix show, so I had to acquire this by alternative means. It is called Revisions. I previewed it as a sci-fi-esque show that could have some cool fighting, maybe a cool premise. It's the genre up my alley, and in a way, yes, it is what I was expecting, but the characters, no. So what I mean by this is Revisions takes place around these kids who they went through a traumatic moment in their childhood where one of them was kidnapped, and this mysterious woman kind of saves them and tells each of them like a line about what they should be worried about in the future. Just a single line, and one of these characters takes it way too hard. She tells him specifically that you will be the hero, you will protect them from something bad from happening. So he takes this way too far, and he becomes engrossed in it and just borderline psychotic, delusional. He's just like, he trains every day, nothing else matters. Anyone who talks to one of his friends, of course it's the girl character who I guess likes him, but she has a twin brother. So he's psychotic, and the whole first episode is portraying this character as a psychotic kind of mental patient, and how he's gonna be the hero, he's gonna protect everyone, blah blah blah. Then finally, when all of his friends confront him for being crazy, because he does seem crazy, everything kind of awesomely, they all float in the air like a good foot or so, and then they drop down. So everyone thinks it's an earthquake or something, right? And I go, that's not how earthquakes work to that extent. You hear this, yeah, you hear this boom kind of motion, and like all of Shibuya, I think it's Shibuya, has been, what's happened is they've been transported into the future of like 20 or 23, 33 or something. I don't remember the exact year. They're in the future, and as the kids are on the roof, main character specifically, main crazy guy, and one of the girl characters that of course likes him even though he's crazy, they're on the roof with a bunch of other students, and this wild War of the Worlds type robot just comes and kills a bunch of kids, like squeezes the life out of them, picks up a couple, throws them in a tank that's like on its back. I was like, that's cool. Okay. I thought it was stupid for a while. Right? Because the characters are just very not likable. They're just way over the top. But the robot coming kind of, okay, saved me a little bit. Even the teacher that was on the roof just closes the door in panic and like locks it. Hopefully that, you know, the robot won't come in.
Ha! Can't get me.
Yeah, right. And then mysterious woman who saved them as children comes back. She looks the exact same. She has no memory of telling them all that, and she just kind of goes, oh, that must have been like the future me or something. So time travel is a thing in this anime.
No way.
No way, right?
Really? They got transported in the future, and now you realize time travel is a thing. All right.
Well, yeah.
That doesn't
so
sound like a good anime, by the way.
Well, the way it's giving you information is very kind of all over the place. It's out of order. And what happens next is main crazy guy gets into the courtyard, and he wants to protect everyone because that's what he's trained for. Now he's kind of freaking out. Well, the woman gives him this mech robot that matches his, like, it automatically integrates his body into it so he can move freely, like he's fighting hand to hand, and he has various weapons and whatnot. He defeats it, and the next two episodes are really strange. So you have the Shibuya kind of police officer force arrest him for illegal use of weapons. Like, they're still by the book, even though like pure chaos is happening. And then all his friends also get taken in. They don't know what's happening. They're kind of seeing this as all being weird. And then the woman shows up to the police force and goes, all right, you've been transported into the future. These things are called revisions. They've transported you into the future, specifically me and the group I represent. I think it's called like Harv or something. We're supposed to protect you. We'll try and figure out how to get you guys back. And the episode after that, and it's just info dump at you. Meanwhile, crazy guy's just like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I get to protect everybody for once. Who cares about like the end of the world possibly or whatever? And the third episode was them trying to get two other suits. And naturally, crazy guy goes, I'm going to protect everyone. I'm going to leave my post. I'm not going to do anything. He just doesn't listen to anybody. He's just psychotic. So he's still crazy. So I absolutely despise his character. And then all the others are inconsequential. They exist. They have no character development or no personality. They just talk at each other the whole time. So the twins end up getting the extra two robots. They, no problem, are able to bring down a revisions bot. And main character's just like, oh, I thought I was going to be the only one kind of idea. So whatever. I will not be continuing this anime. It is not very good at all. The premise was neat, but the characters are so unlikable, and the story is turning out to not be interesting enough, at least in its execution. It's going to be very info dumpy. You know what it reminds me of a little bit? That reverse isekai that was last year in the spring. Recreators?
Yeah. Ooh.
That's what it's reminded me a lot of, is a lot of just info dump and Monster of the Week shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But Recreators was so good.
Well, maybe people should check out Revisions then.
Yeah, that's gonna be a no for me.
Yeah, so I don't recommend Revisions. I will be dropping the show. It's not interesting enough for what it's trying to do, and the characters are just terrible. So, moving on.
Fantastic. Sounds like a 10 out of 10 kind of show.
At least the initial robot's revisions scene was cool, where it's squeezing people to death, blood going everywhere, and then dumping it in its body tank. That was cool. That was it.
That, to be honestly, if you want that, just watch Blood Sea.
Yeah, you're right, Tori. You're absolutely right.
Because that is what that is, but, the entire time.
Right.
Just Blood Sea? All right.
Yeah, just Blood Sea.
All right.
Fuck you, Mickey.
Yeah. All right. No, I mean, I like Clamp. I'm not complaining at all.
Daisuke Dojima is the main character's name. There you go.
Fantastic. I feel like I've... Oh, yeah! Right. From Yakuza.
Right. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right, Tori. I love it.
Cool. He got his own anime, huh? Anyway, let's move on. And unlike these people, I always save my best for last. So the last thing that I want to talk about is Dororo. Synopsis goes: A samurai lord has bartered away his newborn son's organs to 48 demons in exchange for dominance on the battlefield. Yet the abandoned infant survives thanks to a medicine man who equips him with primitive prosthetics, lethal ones with which the wronged son will use to hunt down the multitude of demons to reclaim his body one piece at a time before confronting his father. On his journeys, the young hero encounters an orphan who claims to be the greatest thief in Japan. Yeah. Dororo is very important, as he is the one the show was named after all. So, yeah. No, honestly, this is obviously a Mappa and Tezuka production co-production of the manga by Osamu Tezuka. So,
a remake as well.
And a remake. And so far, I really like it. I really like it. It's been really good. Been a nice little mix of like modern story based on the old story, and kind of with a whole new bunch of techniques. And I haven't done exactly what JD did. I did watch for a video that I'm making. I did watch a little bit of episode 1, and they did definitely change quite a lot. But in my opinion, some of it for the better. I like, especially like the minor things, like for example, Hyakimaru, who is the boy. Well, he can't. He can't talk. He can't see. He can't anything.
They took away way more parts of his body.
Oh yeah, they fucked him up. So like, it kind of likes that because it kind of helps with that like somber and darker feel of this show, and yeah, I really like it. Although while it says that it also says in the synopsis here, Mal, that he's hunting down the demons, but one of the things that they also specifically talks about in the remake, I'm not entirely sure if they do in the original, but that is the fact that like the demons are actually attracted to him and they come to kill him. So yes, he is on his journey, but he's not. It's not like he is like, oh, I gotta go and get my revenge.
No, they make that clear in the original as well, where where I believe that was almost the exact same scene.
That's good.
And the prosthetics guy does say, like, straight out outright that he, like, demons are attracted to him. That's what motivates him to give him swords as prosthetic limbs now. And then he goes, I can't protect you forever, because he accidentally kills one of the 48 demons, and when he kills one of the demons, he gets, like, that particular part of his body back.
Yeah. That is obviously... that's key
I
to this story.
believe in the new one, it says hunts, because every time he crosses a demon, that it has the red color.
Yes, he goes after them. He goes to kill them. He just
goes rampage on the demon.
Yes,
so I believe that's why they put the hunt. Well, yeah,
kind of, yes, but it is like, it makes it like, it does make it sound way more like a revenge thing. It's like he's coming to kill everything to get his revenge on it. It's like, it's not quite like that. He is killing them, obviously, and he does see them, although he's blind, but he can see like the red mist, and that's like that. Then he knows it's an enemy. But yeah, but it is interesting, and also, as JD said, the same thing kind of happens in the original with that flashback as well. I really like this, but I really like some of the things they do here. I see people complain about the lack of color in this anime. I personally like it. I like the fact that they decided to go with a more muted color palette as kind of the... if this would have been bright and vibrant, it would have been kind of a clash with the tone of the anime, in my opinion. So I like that it's more muted. And I especially like that in the third episode, they opted for way more like gray, way more gray tones, almost black and whitish for the flashback parts, which I really like. So,
dude, this was a study of an anime. That is great, especially if you watch the original one. There's a guy on YouTube just going on subtitling the old one, and you can watch it. It's great, especially to analyze how pacing changed from decades to decades.
Yeah. The other thing is the portrayal of the character Hyakimaru, because Tori, you mentioned that he doesn't talk in the new one.
Yeah.
And in the original, I can see why they gave him the choice, gave him a voice, because that's how they were. I assume it has a lot to do with technology and techniques and how much time they were allotted, that kind of thing. Hyakimaru being able to convey to Dororo what's kind of happening. Yeah, it's a bit more tell than show, and in the new one, it's more show than tell. But it does make sense in the original. What doesn't make sense is when you break down, okay, well, if he can't hear or see, then he wouldn't be able to learn how to talk.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Nah, but like, I mean, this isn't exactly the only time where that has happened. I'm deaf. I can't hear anything, but I can still communicate. That's fine.
But there is a line in both of them where it kind of gets you to forgive it a little bit, and that is the prosthetics guy. He goes, there's something about him where where his instincts, and he's still able to learn despite the hindrances.
Yeah, well, I mean the newer one, they gave him the ability to listen before talking, so that is probably also an excuse.
He's got that now,
but future. Yeah.
But like,
well, I mean, when he started talking, it's just like, oh, he learned how to talk without listening. No, now he can listen.
Yeah, exactly. But it is, like, for example, he knows how to write. Although, again, that's not necessarily something you need to be able to see to be able to do. You can, I mean, we've already seen another old man who also can feel out signs and whatnot. So it's possible. It's hard, but it's actually, you can make it work. I've seen people do this shit. It's fucking weird.
Well, he's got those instinctual superpowers, and that's kind of the that's their go-to to explain all the things that don't make sense. It's a cop out. It's a cop out to an extent, but it's a little bit more forgivable than a lot of other instances, I feel.
I don't really consider it that much of a cop out, because kind of that like your internal power and your Zen or whatever. It's that's kind of been a part of like Japanese culture for a long time. They believe in the spirit, they believe in energy and whatnot and stuff like that. So technically, they already give those quote unquote abilities to seeing people, that they're able to feel them. And the same thing, deaf people, like they can still hear despite not being able to hear. They can feel it. So it's like, it's technically just it's the same. It's just he can kind of understand you even though he can't actually hear you. He can kind of see even though he can't, but it's mostly just he can see. It's like he can see his enemies versus regular people, or rather, he can see people with bloodlust versus people who don't have them. I think that was what they said, something like that.
Yeah, he can. Based on your spirit and will to live, you will glow or give off an aura that only he can see. Kind of deal.
Except it's not only he who can see it.
Well, no, there's also the blind monk, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's a great show. Everyone should watch it because it is just great. It is old story. What anime has the best to offer so far.
Yeah,
I also
we all recommend.
Yeah, I also got my best show for the ending, and JD can agree with me in that one. I previewed Ueno-San wa Bukyo, or How Clumsy Are You, Miss Ueno? Basically, it tells the story of Ueno. It's she's a third year of junior high school, and she's in love with a guy from the science club called Tanaka. And basically, she's a super, yeah, she's a super genius, and she uses her inventions to try to give a hint to Tanaka that she loves her. She loves him. When I previewed it, I was like, well, it's gonna be a fun show, you know. I'm not expecting that much. Probably just a few jokes, and that's gonna be funny, especially because it's half a length of an episode. But then I watched the first episode, and it was a little bit more than I was expecting. Especially with the provision of the characters. In particular, Ueno. And the first gag of the show, she tries to force Tanaka to drink her purified urine. And I wasn't
Drink my
expecting
urine,
anything
Tanaka.
like that.
I don't want to. Do it. It's totally fine. Then you do it. I've already done it.
Yeah. Every time she tries to... oh my god, the show is so dumb, but I just love it. Every single time she tries to do anything. Every character that is introduced is fun. You have Ueno and Tanaka. Tanaka is just a deadbeat. He doesn't care about anything. He just cares about the inventions and his curiosity. You have the book girl, you know, the white-haired one who is in the club, and she always sacrifices herself for Ueno. They also introduced the pervert girl from the swim club that she wanted to be naked in front of everyone every single time. It was very fun. I'm having way more fun than I thought I would have.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fun show. It has perverted jokes in
a lot of them.
a original way, I guess. It's definitely something I've never seen before. I'm gonna use this spatial distortion machine that I've just invented because reasons. And when I take my clothes off in front of you, Tanaka-kun, you will not be able to see past the abyss that is space in this infinite wonderland. Yeah.
Oh, I just love it. The bottle of water. It's like where the water is coming from. Well, you know, the Milky Way. Like,
The Milky Way, yeah.
All right, sure. It's like, it tastes like the Milky Way. I was like, okay. Even explaining the broken physics of the show is interesting and funny.
Yeah, and it's a short too, so it's very easy to watch.
Yep.
Not a big.
Usually just 2 gags per episode. Very funny.
It's also available on High Dive. How about that, guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
shit.
I highly recommend it because I believe it's the best comedy of this season.
Is it? Because there's a little comedy psychic show that's very popular.
Oh yeah, nah.
Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. It's obviously the sequel to the first season of Mob Psycho 100, focused on Mob, who's the most powerful psychic in the known world, at least to our knowledge. And contrary to Season 1, Season 2 seems to be gearing up, at least with the hint of the first 3 episodes here, where Mob is starting to think for himself and develop more complex emotions, because he was very one-dimensional a lot of the times in the first season.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
that was part of his character, though. And he
yeah,
slowly learned.
You know, kind of the whole thing with that, like 100. The reason why it's called Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah. So if he reaches like a stress level, and it shows like a percentage of how close he is to reaching 100, and if his stress gets up that much, then his psychic powers go out of control.
It's not stress. It's his emotions. The reason why he's well, it's not stress. The reason why he is deadpan. The reason why he doesn't show any emotion of any kind is because he's just kind of taught himself to not do that. Because once he gets emotional, when he starts questioning things, and that's kind of why, as you said, this show is kind of showing him more. He's questioning things. Why does stuff happen? He's learning the thing more for himself. And just like Season 1, the more he does this, the more that counter keeps rising.
Right.
Because he's not supposed to have emotions. He can't have emotions.
If you don't remember what the synopsis is of Season 1, it's Mob, a boy troubled, expressing himself, happens to be a powerful Esper. Mob is determined to live a normal life. That goes with what you said, Corey. To keep his ability suppressed with his emotions before they surge to a level of 100%. Something terrible happens to him as he's surrounded by other Espers, people that pretend to be Espers, evil spirits, mysterious organizations, what have you. It has a really, really nice first episode introducing Season 2, where a girl kind of loses a bet to go out with Mob. I think it only takes place in the course of a week. Which is kind of funny. which is like a high school, junior high kind of dating scene. But anyway, she loses a bet, and over that week, like, Mob kind of develops feelings for her, and vice versa. So what initially was a joke turns out not so much, and there's a nice little scene at the end where all of the girl's friends rip up her little novel she was writing in front of her, and she kind of, no, it was a joke the whole time, and Mob kind of steps in like the man that he is, because he's been training in the weightlifting club.
It's like the body something club,
the bodybuilding club or something.
It's not bodybuilding. It's just like they want the perfect body to show off. It's something like that.
It's body something.
Body enhancement club, something like that.
Yeah, it's something weird like that. But I mean, like, it's funny. But also one of the things I like, because Mob in this situation is like, you get to see she confesses to him, and then you kind of get to see that typical, like, okay, they're no going out. Although actually they're not going out because Mob actually turned her down. But he's still kind of walking around or walking her home and like that, and it's like, why? I don't know why. It just feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, but I do like that. I do like that moment at the end where he uses his psychic abilities to bring her novel back together, and he goes, "By the way, I'm an Esper. Here you go."
Yeah.
And there's his childhood friend like in the back, and she just looks up, smooth.
It's nice. That's a big moment for him, because he's not supposed to show anybody that he is an Esper. So to kind of do that, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just compressed everything in one story. Showing him showing emotions, telling people he's an Esper, showing his powers and things like that. Every single thing. The story will start to kick in now. After the last episode?
Yeah, so what happened in the next two was self-contained stories, episodic, of is Mob working with Regan. Regan's the guy, for those that don't remember, Regan's the guy who owns his own little psychic shop, I guess you could call it.
And he is the best guy.
And he is the best guy, right? And he's sort of mentoring Mob in more ways than one, than just being a scam artist. So the hint here is that Mob is slowly breaking out of his shell, starting to think of his own, and Reagan's noticing this, and he's trying to help Mob control it all. So I guess we'll see what happens. As Hickey said, it looks like it's going to start ramping up now. Yeah. And we, based on season 1, we have, and it's by Studio Bones, so Solid Studio behind it. I have no reason to not continue watching this show.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It looks as good. The animation is still on point. Mm-hmm. The jokes are still pretty funny. It's a little bit more serious right now, which is kind of nice. I don't mind the comedy, but it's nice to see. Although Reagan is still, just by being Reagan, still able to provide so much of that needed comic relief, just by literally being himself. Like when they're taking on that job, the psychic job. Yeah, right. And then he's kind of like they're getting attacked, and he's technically just a regular human, so he can't really himself. And then fucking this thing is just jumping at him. He kind of just hold on, I'm busy, knees the thing in the goddamn stomach as it tries to catch it. I love that. He has no power, so technically he's way in over his head. He's just he's so full of himself. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the way things are going right now, he's probably gonna be, that character. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I would say that character. You guys know what I'm talking about, and that will be also very interesting to see, because it's gonna be a more serious side of Reagan. Maybe, calling back the first time he talked to Mob when he was just a kid.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Does that do it for our winter anime impressions, or do you guys have any other shows you'd like to hit on?
Any remarks to make? Well, I have one.
Okay.
Kotobuki Hitokai. Why though?
Not good.
There's some. It's not that it's. Well, I'm having fun, but that's because I like old warplanes. The problem is, it's the show me and Tori are shit watching. And it's from the same studio. Well, one of the studios is the studio of Berserk 2016 and 2017.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they went with CGI characters, main characters, in a full 2D anime.
Are you kidding me? It's a full CGI anime with 2D characters. Everything is CG except for a couple side characters, and
but then the main characters in the second episode becomes 2D.
I know. Well,
it's why?
It
doesn't
one
make
scene.
sense. The production in this anime doesn't make any sense.
That was one scene, and then they went back to being full CG again.
Yes. But that kept happening in episode 3 and episode 4 as well.
I know, but it's so fucking. I hate this because here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? This is the thing that bothers me about this show. The staff consists of people who have worked on stuff, well, director too, but who's worked on stuff like Girls on Panzer and fucking, what else was it? Shirowako. And, of course, the director has also done Mayuiga, which, that sucks. But they have some solid credits to them. But then you look at the studios. You have Studio Gemba, who did Berserk 2016 and 2017. And on the other hand, you have Studio WoW World, who no one knows, but when I looked it up, it turns out that the number one, their most infamous anime, is the anime Mars of Destruction, which is regarded as one of the worst anime ever created.
Yeah. I mean, the dogfights are fun. They also don't make any sense because, the planes that fight, the way they fight, it's not even close to reality, let's play that. But yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. The production choices of this anime doesn't make any sense. No, don't watch it. But I mean, if you want to watch it, you're gonna have the same thing as I am experiencing right now. Every single episode, I look at the production of it and just go, why? Why
you want to watch? That? You want to watch a show with cool aerial fights? Watch Area 88. By the way, also listen to our podcast on that.
That is true. That's true. There's another one. There's another anime with girls and planes, and the main character speaks Portuguese.
Macross Plus also has good dogfighting.
True.
Yep. There's Growly Air Force, and Gripen speaks Portuguese from time to time, but doesn't make any sense as well. because the Gripen isn't in any Portuguese-speaking country Air Force. Well, at least the one she is. So, like, they gave her the wrong training material. Yeah, no, you also don't need to watch it. And there's also Kaguya-sama, Love is War. Very good show.
Okay. Alrighty. If that does it, then that means we can move on to our final segment, the Retro Anime Review. Hooray!
Woo!
Time to play the drop. Let's see here. You know what? I haven't played this one in a while. Alrighty. So our anime up for review today is perhaps you heard of it. It's based off a famous book. It is called Treasure Island, or in Japanese, Takarajima. It is by... Wait a minute. Holy shit. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Tori, would you quickly read the 5-star review?
Oh, we have a 5-star review,
Yes.
and I didn't even know about it.
Holy shit.
Look at that. What a smooth transition.
It's not important at all.
No, it's just a 5-star iTunes review.
Yeah.
From Lulu Bella 66. I hope I pronounced that right.
Sure.
Love these guys. Aww. The hosts are awesome with their knowledge of all the things we like that's out. Definitely like hearing about games, anime, and wrestling. They cover it all. Good listen. Can't wait for the next one. Well, there it is.
There it is. Well, here's the next one. All right, back to it. So, Treasure Island. If you want to leave a 5-star review and get it on the podcast, you can go to iTunes or Stitcher. I'm very upset with Stitcher right now, guys.
Yeah.
We had 12 reviews. Now we have 9. So 3 just got deleted. I don't know what happened.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, doesn't need to be a 5-star review. You can leave any review. We're gonna rate it. I don't know if we're gonna rate it on the podcast, but we'll definitely rate
We'll
it.
definitely see it.
Well, definitely
and
see
take
it,
and
we'll
take
call
into
you out.
consideration everything and try to better ourselves.
Yeah. Well said, Vicky. All right. So on to Treasure Island by Studio Madhouse and TMS Entertainment, so a co-production. By director Osamu Dezaki, whom also directed Ashita no Joe and Aim for the Ace, 2 other anime we have covered on the podcast. So the guy's kind of a big deal.
Kinda.
He's definitely 2 for 2. Well, does he make it 3 for 3? Well, this anime, Treasure Island, came out in the fall of 1978, and I shall read the summary from Anime Planet. After the death of his father, the young Jim Hawkins has lived a quiet life helping his mother run their Admiral Benbow Inn. But he and his mother's life change forever when the drunken scoundrel Billy Bones arrives at their door. Through a series of harrowing events, Billy dies, leaving Jim a treasure map that leads to the famed fortune of the dreaded pirate Captain Flint. And with the help of 2 local gentlemen, the trio, along with Jim's feline friend, it's a tiny little leopard named Benbow, set out to find a ship and crew to achieve their goals. In the nearby town of Bristol, they find the one-legged man, John Silver, who joins their ship, as well as several others. However, as the journey begins, Jim soon realizes that things may not be what they seem.
Ooh. Oh.
Suspense in the synopsis.
I know, right?
Since it's based on a famous book.
Treasure Island by Scottish novelist Robert Louis Stevenson.
Beautiful. And after seeing Anne of Green Gables, what were you guys' expectations going into this one?
I mean, my expectations were fairly high, obviously. Being that it would be, I was expecting kind of another one of those love letters or some to famous Western literature, and delivering kind of a nice little adventure. Really just that.
A nice adventure.
Like to make, yep, that's what I like to make fun of. The better One Piece.
The better One Piece.
Better One Piece. Where the treasure is not the friendship, like we all know it's gonna be the end of One Piece.
Shut up, Hickey. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. That is not what it's gonna be. I swear.
Please, Hickey. Oh,
you
please.
know it. You know it.
There will be no ending to One Piece, please.
That is also true. That is also true. They might find the One Piece, which is the friendship, but then there's like, no, that's not possible. And then there's a hint for the actual One Piece, which will be more friendship.
The missing history of the land.
I don't believe I'll be alive.
And then they'll end it on the end, and their adventure goes on.
Oh boy.
THV.
Hickey, what were your expectations?
The Boruto of One Piece. Well, I mean, yeah, it was quite high because the novels, like the Western novels about sailing the seas and pirates and things like that, usually they are very good. So seeing an anime, a 1978 anime, just like Anne of Green Gables, which is closer to that time period of production. I believe it will be a fairly good anime, and well, it delivered with the adventure I was expecting from a Western novel. Of course, I have my reservations when it comes to the characters, and there's some scientific misunderstandings, especially about the malaria. But I can forgive that. It's because of the time period the novel was written.
Yeah, 1882.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, malaria does come up in the
at the time.
Yeah, if you contract malaria, you won't go around crazy killing people. I need to take malaria shots because I live in the tropics. So some people sometimes, they get malaria. You just get a fever, probably dies. Usually you die. And they show that in the show as well.
When I was living in Texas, I had to get malaria shots every now and again as well.
Yeah, you don't go crazy and try to kill people just like they showed in.
I don't know, man. If I got malaria, I knew I'd die.
But that's not what happened with the guys with malaria.
You have also some people in the ship.
They just got drunken. They just got drunk and went fucking nuts.
Oh. Okay, I think the only guy who didn't go nuts was the one who was drinking, but that's fine. And he just got cold murdered by the other guy. But yeah, no, you have the adventure, you have the characters, you have an interesting premise. Going around the sea, trying to find this deceased pirate, former pirate treasure. You have, the island, the mysteries of the jungle. Very interesting premise and very interesting show.
So I've read the book numerous times. It's definitely one of my favorite books, so I was very worried going into this one personally. And I was my expectations were mixed because it had a heavy bar that was set with Anne of Green Gables, another anime we watched for the podcast based on a famous Western novel. So, would it deliver in being faithful enough to the book? I wasn't sure. My hope was it would be faithful, but my expectations were definitely mixed.
Just like every anime.
Well, yeah. So, have you guys read the book before?
No, I have not.
No, I haven't read it. Like I think I've seen parts of it. Like I have parts of it read to me before and stuff like that, but never actually read the entire thing.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's more the genre. When it comes to adventure and like old adventure and things, I prefer steampunk, and cold punk things like Julio Verne and those kind of stories. So when I was growing up, I would go to those stories instead of more of the 1700s kind of scenario with the ending of the grand navigations around the world and the decline of the piracy era.
Okay. So, with that being said, and the book reference. What did you guys think of the story overall? Because the adventure is the whole appeal to this. I agree with Hickey on that. So did the anime go deep enough into it? Not deep enough? Like, what's your take on all this?
I personally, I mean, I think it's fine the way they like. Again, it is about the adventure. It's about getting the story. It is fairly simple for a story, but I don't think it needs to be like for what it is. I don't think it would have been beneficial for the show to try to overcomplicate it and add a whole bunch of unnecessary things to the story. So for me, I'm fine with the way it's handled.
Okay.
Yeah. My main issue is with the characters, but you pointed out like here in the next question. So I'll just skip over for now. Definitely, but I'll just say that the characters already make the story complicated enough. So if you complicated the story even more, it will be just bad. I find it interesting that I was watching it and I just reminded of Pokemon. It's basically the same premise. You have like Jim with 13-year-old going venture the world because he's old enough to do that with his black and yellow animal, and then you have Pokemon with Ash with 10 years old with his black and yellow Pikachu going venture the world as well.
I didn't think about it that way.
Immediately I was like, huh, that looks familiar. Oh yeah, Pokemon. All right.
So what you're saying is that Pokemon ripped off Treasure Island?
Probably.
I mean, it couldn't be the other way. Unless time travel, of course, is real. In which case,
who knows? But yeah, the story is very simple. I guess it shouldn't be very complicated. Come on. The most complicated part will be, I believe, the narration in the book, especially if Jim was narrating the story in the book. But when it comes to maybe like narrating through letters to his mother, things like that. But when it comes to animation, where it's more straightforward, no, the story was good enough for the way it was portrayed.
I did miss Jim Hawkins' self-narration. I was hoping that the anime would definitely have more internal dialogue with Jim Hawkins. And we'll get into more of what I think of the character, because he, to me, was like the sole kind of negative on the anime.
Oh,
but
good. I also have a character that is the sole negative, but it's John Silver, so we can discuss that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
Which positive and negative to it. So did it go deep enough into the story? I wish they went more into the actual search for the treasure. I thought that was heavily rushed with how they brought John Silver into figuring out the clues of the map, and it just felt like it was too easy, which I guess it just didn't transfer well for me. And then after that, it did get to a good pace, how that handled. But the build at the start was very good with Billy Bones, and how there was a little bit lost in translation there on how much Jim Hawkins himself related to the characters, and that was a big failure to me with how it failed to adapt the story, where Jim Hawkins sees both Billy Bones and John Silver as kind of the ex facto father figure in his life, because his father was a sailor, and that's why he came to admire these two characters so much. And with the start, yes, Billy Bones was kind of crazy, and that was portrayed well, but why did he make such an impact on Jim Hawkins himself was kind of a failure, which I think in terms of John Silver, that was handled much better. I guess there was more time to go into that. So that's where I wish it would have gone deep enough. But as for the story being more on the simpler side, I think it was fine. Corey?
Yeah, nah. I don't really have any deep problems with the characters personally. I like John Silver. Kind of obvious, but I mean, again, it's like the whole like, oh, who's this one-legged pirate thing? I mean, as soon as I heard the fact, as soon as I heard the
Yeah,
fact
it's kind of obvious, right?
named John Silver, it's like, well, come on. Like, sure, who could it be?
That was funny though. Billy Bones is scared of the one-legged man. Oh, there must be a billion of those around, right?
Yeah, I mean, there could have been.
There could have been. There wasn't.
I'm sure it's not that rare, but yeah, nah. But I like him. Billy Bones. Billy Bones was, I mean, kind of just like, here's the pirate. So yeah, personally, I'm fine with it. Jim Hawkins is. I'd say Jim Hawkins was kind of made into that like typical, what would later on become like a typical like show character of like, oh, everything is new to me. I'm experiencing so many things.
Right.
So, but again, I don't see that necessarily as a problem. I just see that that's how this anime decided to handle his character. So, I was fine with that personally. So yeah,
He's a tough kid.
he can be.
I guess that's how it portrayed. Well, let's get into the two main characters, and that's the Jim Hawkins and John Silver itself and their interaction between each other, because that's a big chunk of the story and motivations. What are your thoughts over them? Let's start with Tori, because then Hickey and I guess have more to say.
Like their interactions. They have many interactions. Like. I mean, John Silver is kind of just, like you said, talk about that, like, a bit more, you see a bit more of that father figure-ish. Mm-hmm. He becomes somebody that, although I'd say they kind of replaced, like, father figure more so with friend, because, again, Japan. So, to me, it's kind of like he becomes the guy, he kind of becomes the guy that Jim chooses to trust Silver. Big mistake. So yeah, like, you know, I like the way, even though like it's obvious, but I did like the way he kind of like weasels himself in there and like gains everyone's trust and kind of just like he's just a regular guy until he killed that one guy and it's like, yeah, I was there, I saw him, like, and he's just blatantly lying and Jim is like, he's lying, you're lying, and just like, well, maybe I killed him then. Yeah, no, that couldn't be. Of course not. Mm-hmm. Yep, not at all. And then the ghost literally comes back to try to get him, and no one's questioning it.
Well, I mean, that's because all of them would betray the ship captain and the aristocrats guys and things like that. So, you know, they're like, no, you know, it's ghost stuff. We don't know.
I also just like John Silver literally going up to confront this ghost. I don't believe in superstition, motherfucker. You're staring it right in the face. It's like, that doesn't really work here. Although I guess he was right. He did win.
Sure.
Take that, ghost.
He kicked the shit out of the ghost.
You might already be dead, but I'll kill you again.
Yeah, the most badass one-legged man in the seas.
Dude, I love it though. The one-legged man, he's running like he has 2 feet when he gets to that fucking treasure. Like
Oh, he does that constantly throughout the entire show, where he has one leg, but his super crutch, and he'll always have a crutch, no matter where he is, no matter how many times it gets broken, he will have a brand new crutch on the ready.
Yeah, well,
you got to be prepared when you're lacking a foot. If you only have one crutch, you're fucked.
It's interesting how they integrated the crutch to his character, because when, you know, he's not with it, he's just fragile and weak. Yeah. He cannot move. He starts trembling for some reason.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Like, I understand.
Well,
it's the balance.
Well, that's not weird. That's 70s Japan talking about, you know, some
Yeah, no, but I know.
Person.
No, but I know, right? Like when it's easier when you have the crutch because you can balance yourself properly. Without it, it's kind of harder to balance yourself up. It's like try to stand on one foot for too long. It's kind of difficult. But it's like it's not. It didn't bother. That's not something that really bothered me. But it is. It's kind of funny. I was like, it's almost instant. It's like I got no problem walking, and then it's like lose his crutch. Shit, I can't.
He's just in the ground begging, please help me. I was like, you're gonna kill me. No, I won't. I just want my crutch because I'm crippled. And then they give him the crutch, and he's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, kid. Like, but yeah, no, I believe. I mean, I'm joking, but I really enjoy that.
I think it's like unintentionally funny at times.
Sure. I mean,
especially
the scene that cracked
me.
The scene that cracked me up the most was when Jim finds out officially that John Silver's kind of a murderous pirate. That's when they get to the island, and Jim goes, "John, you murdered him," or "Silver, you murdered him," and then there's that maniacal, slow CG type panning with the crazy artwork, and he's just going.
Oh, you just reminded me. I was going to say I love the fact that he killed somebody. He like the first kills he has on screen. It's like with his crutch, and he just throws the crutch at people and they die. I love that.
Like, throws it into his spine. Sure. We have to believe that is like he threw it so hard into the dude's spine it cracked in half and killed the dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, he got hit by the crutch. He's dead. It's like what? Wait.
It is great. You know it's great.
Of course it's great. Yeah. Of course it's great. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's very funny. Like he's just badass. He's a badass crippled man. But yeah, no. When it comes to the interaction between both of them, I can believe more in Jim's character than Silver's. Jim is a kid; he doesn't have a father. Of course, you know you have belly bones at the beginning, and it's kind of the first kick where Jim started. You know, Jim has the opportunity of going out and sail the seas and see what his father, you know, decided to follow.
Right.
Instead of being with him. And when it comes to Silver, you know, I would say it's his first role model. And even when he knows Silver is a piece of shit, a pirate and a murderer, he can still not, like, he can deny it's still his role model. Especially like when the ship captain got hit by the bullet and they need the water to operate him and take off the bullet, and Jim goes out of the fort they're in and the pirates are just encircling them. He can go out of the fort, goes to the river, and Silver's there, and Silver just starts shooting the pot with water until he breaks it, and Jim's like, "You are the bad guys," and Silver, replies with something that is actually true. There's no bad and evil people. There's survivors. If you survive, you're good. You know, you're good enough. Even after that, Jim started doing more crazy stuff, like trying to maroon the boat. Yeah. Because you know he still takes those advices. It's not about being good or being bad. It's about being a survivor. My problem is with Silver. Silver character is inconsistent.
Inconsistent? How so?
Yeah, very inconsistent. He changes his ideas. Sometimes he's a big douche. Sometimes he's a good guy, and it varies too much. So you never know what is going on with him. Exactly.
I think that's the point, though.
I mean, part of him is
I believe it was just lost in translation.
For me,
it doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, like he's a dick to Jim. Like I said, they need the water. They trash the well. Jim tries to get water from the river. He just starts mocking and shooting a fucking kid, and then after that he starts helping Jim again, and then goes back at being a dick, and then goes back and helping him. It's too inconsistent.
I don't. For me, that is just kind of him. It's the problem with him being the captain of the pirates, because on one hand, he doesn't have any like ill will or wishes towards. He doesn't want to kill Jim. He doesn't even want to hurt him. Really, he will do it, but he doesn't. It's not necessarily that he's like, oh, I'm going to be a big bad meanie. It's more like he has kind of like he has essentially the two sides to him, and then kind of like the one side to him where it's like he doesn't really have anything against Jim, and for all intents and purposes, he does actually see him as kind of a friend. And on the other hand, it's like he's got his pirate crew. He can't show that in front of them because to them, Jim is the enemy. So he also has to be like the tough bad guy. It's like,
and it does come to bite him back in the ass too. At one point in the arc, where he finally saves Jim like one too many times, and that's when the pirates start to revolt. They even give him the black spot, which for those that don't know, when a pirate's given the black spot, it basically means every other pirate is now out to kill your ass.
Yeah. Which I did think it was kind of funny because it's like they just draw it on a piece of paper. So it was just like, well, fuck, it'll be it.
Well, yeah, he's just like, you think this paper means anything to me? Rip.
Yeah, no, I like those moments with being an absolute badass. It's just like everyone literally, remember Billy Bones when he got the black spot? He was just like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, that was awesome. I really like that. Yeah. When Billy Bones gets the black spot, and it's this rubber like ball essentially, and he's already a drunk. He's already had like a heart attack. So mix that in with you're now going to be murdered by pretty much any other pirate that you ever come across, and you have until 10 o'clock. He has an anxiety attack that kills his ass. Yeah,
that was hardcore.
I was like, that was awesome,
dude. When that happened, I was just like, all right, that's just not like any of this. Is unlike a lot of other kid shows.
Yeah.
What? Oh no, that was cool.
So unlike Hickey, I liked Silver's character because it showed three sides and they all conflicted with each other. Because of, like you said, Tori, what circumstance he was currently in, and because his motivation is finding the treasure. At the end of the day. Not exactly.
One might even say he's obsessed by it.
One might say that, exactly. So he has the relationship with Jim, and he does develop a nice one. He has the pirate side of himself, and then he has his own kind of self-being, right? And his own morals. So you have those three sides, and they clash with each other. And how it all kind of comes together is trying to keep it separate and trying to come out with the best situation depending on the circumstances he's in. So what's a good example of this? We can stick with when Jim was in the duel with the other pirates, right?
Yeah.
And Silver goes, okay, I don't want Jim to actually die, so how can I save him? Yet, how can I keep my pirate crew on my side? Yet, how can I also use this to find the treasure? And he comes to the conclusion, the fight was unfair, because you knew you're going to kill him anyways. We can use Jim as a hostage for the people that'll help us find the treasure. And there was multiple instances where things like that came together, and that's where John Silver, to me, was a really good character. Now, Jim's character was very one-dimensional, with his only conflicting thought is, do I see John as my friend, or do I see him as my enemy? And where Jim Hawkins really drove me nuts was his constant, I won't listen to anybody, I'm just going to run off and do the thing. So you had Billy Bones
really helping that much.
And no one would prevent him from doing these stupid decisions.
Gray helped a lot.
Gray did help a lot, but remember what he said? Do you see it? You should have seen his eyes, man. His eyes.
Yeah, right?
You want to stop him like that?
You want to stop those eyes?
Gray was cool, though. I like Gray as well.
He was a good side character. We'll get to the supporting cast in a second here. I do want to finish this thought with Jim. So Jim Hawkins, from the get-go, when Billy Bones dies, and he has the map, he knows the pirates are coming to murder them. Everyone in town knows that the pirates of the crazy guy Flint are coming to town to kick some shit, right? So Jim's first reaction is, I gotta get my mom out of here. I got the map. Let's get to safety. And then immediately negates that and goes, I gotta go back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's got that. It's like, you get that dilly-dally. We gotta get out of here. And it's just like, Mom, let's get out of it. Let's run. Wait. Gotta put out the fire first. Can't have the lights on. Gotta do this. Gotta clear up. Let's go. Wait, hold on. It's like, guy, come on.
Like, I know that he's 12, 13, but come on.
No, but I personally, I didn't mind that too much.
Billy Bones says, beware of the one-legged man who wants this treasure. He's coming. He's very dangerous. I'm so scared of this guy that I died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Jim, go find... Hey, Jim, we found this dude in town. He's going to come and join us on this treasure hunt. He's a one-legged man. Oh, I think he's a pirate.
He's a cook. He's a cook. He shouldn't be a pirate.
Right, and then Jim is just so quick on a dime to believe this guy.
Well, he doesn't believe him, but then it's like, just like talks him to for a while, and then he lets him know that there's a pirate in his tavern. He's just like, a pirate in my tavern? Nah,
not in this town. No.
I love that moment because I'm just there like, wow, he's really trying to sell this idea that he's not a pirate. Just goes in the fucking like, where is this guy? And you're like, he's over there, you motherfucker.
Get over here.
You start chasing him around town. It's like, oh god, I love that.
It was interesting that we never saw those initial two pirates again. Well, one of them dies. He gets trampled to death by horses. But Black Dog, we don't ever see again. I thought was interesting.
He got chased away by...
Yeah, he got chased away by Silver.
By the most badass one-legged man.
Yep. I find it kind of weird the way they describe him as like he's the most evil of pirates. I didn't really ever get to see that properly. Okay, I'll take their word for it.
All right, so how about the supporting cast?
I mean, it depends.
They didn't do jack shit and got killed off.
Yeah, like I said, I like Gray. Gray was cool. His switching side was kind of weird. Like, no, I side with the weak ones. Oh, sure. You do you, man. But
yeah,
like,
it doesn't make much sense in the book either.
No, but
yeah, I mean,
like
but
when
he
he becomes
side with the weakest one.
Yeah,
even after the adventure where he donates his money to a free Ireland movement and dies in battle.
Yep,
he died valiantly in battle, though.
He did.
Yeah,
he wanted to become John Silver.
Free Ireland.
Yeah, no, but like again, like it's pretty. Like he was a pretty cool character to me. Kind of just the way like he tries to protect Jim. Obviously, he follows him around. He also has that really really nice little one where they're diving in the sea there, and the shark comes in, and he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm knifing this thing to death." Yeah, what a badass he is. I love that. It is. It was nice. And obviously, you have other people. It's like, fucking Trelawney. He could have been a little bit less of an idiot, but I guess that's fine. He got a bit on my nerves at times.
Oh sure, yeah.
I mean, most of the pirates they just die from malaria. You don't don't really need to.
Well, I would say
much of them.
I would say half of them died of malaria, and then there was the boat crew
other half
that
just killed themselves.
The boat crew had suffered from the one guy going crazy because he thought everyone was out to get him. No one would believe him, so he lost his mind. So he murders everybody, but everyone dies in funny circumstances. And there's Jim on the shipboat just watching all this happen.
Terrified. They're like, what the fuck is going on? And then Silver just comes back out of nowhere to the ship.
Yeah.
Pirates are just monsters. All they care about is killing. Actually, they're just crazy.
They're just fucking nuts.
Out of the pirates, you have Silver and Puppy, and Puppy is the comedy relief.
Yeah,
you don't really pay that much attention to him. And to the other side, the good guy side, you have Gray, which is a actual good supporting character. You have Doc, which has his role. He's the doctor. There's no denying on that. Same goes to Captain. You have the two other guys, random guys. One dies, and you actually have the old man, and he dies and gets. He's actually also kind of a role model to Jim, the more like good side of
Right.
Jim goes seeking this old man, and the old man just gets shat on by Silver as well. And then that starts all the mentality of pirates are evil and they don't care about people at all. You also have the other guy, the chubby guy from the two brothers that also dies, and just reinforces Jim's views of the pirates. You have the bad aristocrat that doesn't do anything. I don't know why he's there. Yeah, he's just there because he has the money to fund the
he has the money.
voyage.
Yeah, he's that rich guy that wants adventure, pretty much.
Yeah, and he doesn't contribute to anything at all.
Oh, he does nothing.
No.
No, he's just rich.
And at the end, he helps with negotiating.
Ooh.
That's the only thing he does.
So then, what'd you guys think of how the story wrapped up? From the moment they found the treasure till the very last moment where Jim's all the way back and he he's ended his 10-year journey.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I like the fact that there's an epilogue. One of the things that I miss, not every anime needs an epilogue, but it's definitely one of those things I miss from a lot of modern anime and modern movies and series in general, where it's just kind of when it's over, when the main point is over, it's done, that's where it finishes. So kind of the epilogue is nice. I like it. It kind of gives you a little bit of a nice little insight into what happened. The whole treasure thing is it is where it wraps up. Obviously, they would eventually find the treasure, or they get to finding the treasure, stuff like that. It's fine. I don't really mind. That's not the most complicated thing to find. It's for the back in the day, I would assume that in the riddle it was just to fucking get there and not get murdered by pirates.
Right.
Yeah. I thought the treasure wasn't worth jack shit when they came back.
Well, yeah, with the amount of money that they got, it was was that even worth it?
I love that fucking old dude though. The guy they found on the island, just
£1,000 is yeah, that is
£1,000. I'll buy a fucking farm and everything. It's that's not going to be enough to afford anything.
He's like, inflation was that much in 10 years? Shit.
I love that moment though.
Yeah. After all that, they each only got £1,000, which was nothing.
I mean,
come on, it makes sense.
Talking to the time period of the thing, £1,000 was a lot of money, but still,
it wasn't even enough to buy a farm.
Yeah, they found a cave full of gold. And all of that shit was worth £1,000 each. I was like, all right, okay, I guess. But the epilogue, like Tori said, I believe a lot of modern anime will benefit for having a epilogue.
I think so.
And this one is also very good. I don't believe, or rather, I didn't like the ending of Silver. Because his end is a little bit of he did a bunch of bad things, but he lost the person he loved, so that's fine. I was like, no, I don't agree with that. It's life tortured him because his very hot, dark-skinned wife died, and now he's alone. And
well, that came way later. He had a good life. Because it said his wife just died.
Yes, but that's basically the, how can I say, the old state of Silver is basically his that is so dumb. His old state, his precarious state, let's put it like that, with everything dying around him, and he's not being able to care about himself anymore. Things like that. It's it's what he needs to suffer for his crimes. Basically, I was like, no, that's not good. He should be all fucked up.
I don't know. I kind of like that moment where he's with when he's with the parrot.
He's like,
yeah,
come on.
The parrot
He's
just
just bullying the parrot. I was like, oh my god.
I didn't bully the parrot.
He bullies the parrot.
Oh.
He bullies the shit out of the parrot.
Come on.
Man.
He says you're not old enough to fucking to stop flying
please.
yet.
The fucking parrot is on the ground convulsing, and he's like,
I know it is. It's all.
You can fly.
I like
Billy
that
Bones. You can still fly. Don't give me this crap. And then the parrot just convulsing and start flying, and it's like, there we go. It's like, all right.
I like that moment. It's just like, oh, he's not willing to let go of that thing. That thing is just not allowed to die yet. Like, no, you're almost like fucking 200 years old or some shit.
That parrot,
you better fucking live.
That parrot was alive for a long time.
Nah, I thought I like that moment.
Yeah, no, the epilogue, especially with Jim, being marrying the little girl we saw at the beginning and things like that. It is very cool. I really enjoy epilogues in stories, and that one was no different.
Yeah, you see a conclusion, and there's even a little setup at the end where Trelawney finds another map because he's old. He still wants to seek adventure. He's sure that this is a new map, and it sets up a sequel called Black Sails.
Where he finds another map. I mean, for fuck's sakes. When they talked about it, he was literally just like, "Oh, I found it! Another treasure map of a fifth." Just like this is like the 7th time. God damn it! Stop.
I know you're rich, but seriously,
the adventure's over. God damn it!
Well, it's not, because there's a sequel.
Yep.
Where they set off to find the One Piece.
Oh god. Jim Hawkins' son is actually Luffy this whole time.
Don't eat the devil fruit.
Don't eat the devil.
Alrighty. Well, I don't have much else to say about Treasure Island. Do you guys?
Not really. Like, again, one thing that I really did appreciate it though is kind of just, well, not at the same levels of of things from the Masterpiece Theater era and whatnot. I did like the fact that for a 70th show, the show looked pretty good. Looked pretty alright. I didn't really have any problems with the animation or anything. Like, it did take some hits after towards the end, but compared to what you would normally get with 70 shows, looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the voice acting is also very good.
Yeah,
especially Silver. I can give you that. That laugh is just way too good.
The Japanese voice acting was good.
I don't know about the English one.
Well, this is a pretty famous anime in Germany, hence why it's easy to find the German dub. And for your information, the voice acting in German is quite bad, and the audio quality is even more poor.
Nice.
I watched like the first 2 episodes in German. I go, no.
German efficiency.
Let's go back to Japanese. Takarajima has a lot of problems with story and characters, and from time to time with production. But at the end, it was very fun to watch.
It was very easy.
And it's very easy. It passed by very quickly. And I watched it when I was very busy. I was taking my degree. There was a bunch of parties and ceremonies to attend, and I couldn't care less about the show. But at the end, I cared about it, and I thought it was a very fun ride.
Would recommend it. Well, let's get into, real quick, the community shoutouts and comments, and then we can give our final scores. So, community comments. This one's easy. No one's seen it.
Not even that surprised, to be honest.
There was one fan contacted me on my anime list. He goes, I think you guys are gonna like it. It's sort of from an adventure standpoint like Future Boy Conan, and in a lot of ways, yes, I can agree with that. And then no one has read the book either, it seems, because it's so old.
Because no one likes pirates.
Because nobody likes pirates, I guess. Well, Tori, why don't you read the community shout outs? Just go through the little list here. Not so many.
Community shout outs. Shout out to Brooklyn Podcasting, the Podcast Post, Podglomerate, Anime 69 Land.
I love that one.
Nice. AVG2 Sav, however you're supposed to pronounce that. Jin X Media, Mike James Reed, Curio App.
Yeah, sure.
All right. African Princess and the PMB Pod.
There you go. With that, I'll go first. I am gonna give this show an 8 out of 10. It was very enjoyable, easy to watch. Nothing was offending and or terrible, despite my reservations of the Jim Hawkins character. I thought everything else was very faithful to the book, and not much to dock it for, but just dock it enough. 8 out of 10, and I believe it's my first 8 out of 10 I've ever given on the podcast.
Cool. By a guy who gave like 4 10s already.
True. Hickey, you can go next. I'll go last.
Oh, this show is a easy, strong, and incredible 6. But it's still very fun to watch, and you should definitely at least watch it. It's, easy to go through, and it's a 70s shows with a Western story. And maybe, who knows, if you like it, and if you want to see what the actual story really looks like, pick up the book.
There you go. Not that much different. Not as different as you think.
Good. Nah, for me it was a fun show. Definitely. I do like me a good adventure. This one is definitely up there. So yeah, just a ton of fun to watch. Easy to watch. Went by pretty quick. And I agree with JD. I gave it an 8.
Yay.
No. Maybe I would give it a high score. My score is usually production based, but I was busy with a bunch of stuff and I couldn't care less about this show, unfortunately. Bad timing.
Oh well. That comes out to a 7.3333333.
Oh, perfect.
Not bad. Not bad for a simple little story being told in 1978. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. See, Hickey, this is how you recommend shows.
There you go. And naturally, it wouldn't be the end of the Red Leaf Retrocast without shouting out the retro gaming community that we're a part of, Retro Twitch. So go hit them up at RetroTwitch.com via Twitter. You'll find a link to their Discord. Very nice, enjoyable community. And then naturally, the Anime Radicals, which you can find them at Anime Radicals, in which we are now a part of, in their little anime community podcast. Hooray! Yay! And you can look forward to an episode coming out soon via iTunes and many other podcasting outlets, where myself and the Nerdum and other nonsense guys go over 2019 gaming, kind of an outlook and what we're looking forward to. So look forward to that. And with that, Tori, why don't you close us out?
Sure, I can totally do that. I was absolutely prepared for this to happen. So, this has been the Red Leaf Retrocast, episode 42, talking about Takanajima. It's been fun. I've enjoyed myself. But now, it is over. Bye.
Goodbye, people.
Hooray! All done.
Woo.
All right. The maintenance guy is calling me, so I should go.
All right, later, man.
I'll send this today because I'll only be back at Tuesday. I'll be potting for like 3 days straight.
Okay. Fair enough.
But
later, Hickey. Feel better.
Sure. I almost saved this in the wrong spot.
Uh-oh. That was a fun episode. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And for those that are still in the live stream, little hint here, our next episode, or not hint, our next episode is going to be over Space Adventure Cobra.
Fuck, we forgot to do that again. God damn it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's why you watch the live stream. I hope the audio quality was much better this time. I fixed a lot of it. Hopefully the video is more equal than usual.
That would be nice.
It would be nice. There was something wrong with my computer picking up audio. Not good.
Sure, blame the computer.
Well, something happened. Something happened in the stuff.
Yeah, I guess that happens.
Oh my god, I am starving. I need to go eat. I have things to do. It's Saturday. Hate to do this to you, Tori, but gotta go.
I gotta go too.
Alright, well, good stuff.